sure everything's working.
Are we live? I can't tell.
Hello,
Hi.
we're back. It's Thursday. We're on schedule.
We're on well,
Sort of.
a few hours behind, but kind of.
That's my
Last
bad.
time we were like, yeah, last time we were like 24 or 25 hours behind, so it's definitely improving, right?
Yeah, we're getting better with time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find our rhythm eventually, but it's not even been a month, so it's fine,
We're good. We're
I would say.
fine. What's new in your world?
How? Oh, you know, not much. I had like one of those weeks where my hormones are up and down. So right now I'm feeling great. But
You're on
we
a
we
up.
never know. We'll see. We'll see in 15 minutes.
Okay. Everyone brace
How's your
yourselves.
week been?
It's been good. Busy. I been working on videos and reading Reddit and the fun things in life. But it's been a lot to keep up with, I must say.
Yeah.
Never a dull
Yeah.
moment.
Of indeed, indeed. Especially in our niche.
Mm-hmm.
Lots is happening. So I don't know if you guys are aware of the Creepshow art situation. I'm assuming some people will be because like they probably got um invited by our thumbnail, but I don't know just where to start with this situation because it's just so crazy and convoluted.
I know only what you've told me.
Okay, so maybe we should do a little
Recap.
recap.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Okay, so I already kind of made a video about this on my channel. So basically, then this is because I've covered this situation since, well, I've covered it way before, but like I wasn't aware I was covering it at the time.
Mm.
But between okay, so Emily Artful is a YouTuber, is an art YouTuber here, and she has something like 500 or 600,000 subscribers. She's kind of big on the platform, if you will, and she just released a video um, to kind of conclude her entire situation with Creepshow art. And yeah, Creepshow is a mess. And um, but basically, okay, so back in where should I start? Back in the 2000s, um, Emily, I don't even know if it was yeah, it was the 2000s. It was like a long time ago, maybe like 15 years ago. Emily dated this guy, Anthony. And he goes by Anthony Parker, but apparently Parker is the name that he's changed his name. Like he that was not his that's not his real name, so we
Oh
don't know
boy.
his real name. But either way, Anthony and Emily had been dating for I don't know, a small amount of time. Emily has said that this was a very bad relationship. It was pretty toxic. They were fighting. They were, it wasn't a good relationship. They were young too. So,
Hmm.
anyways, this happened, and then this Anthony Parker guy is actually Creepshow Art's husband. So turns out that this was and probably a few other instances were enough to just kind of get these people to allegedly um, stalk Emily for like the last 9 years or so. And they've been stalking, or allegedly been stalking and harassing her. And there's been like a lot of things that have happened. It's a pretty sad story, to be honest. And when last year, when Creepshow Art got canceled because of lolcow, which is a detail that I noticed a lot of people forget,
Hmm.
because Creepshow Art was not canceled by Emily Artful. Creepshow Art was canceled by Creepshow Art because she was like dumb as fuck. Because here's what she was doing. she she had almost 500,000 subscribers, so she was a big YouTuber.
Yeah.
And like a dummy one, because like she was, instead of just like doing her thing, she would go on lolcow, which is like a website like Kiwi Farms, where people just kind of are anonymous and they're trashing other people. So she would go on lolcow and trash everyone, including herself, trying to just kind of cover up the fact that it's her. But like, I don't know if you ever saw her channel. Have you seen her channel ever?
I saw it when the drama wasn't as obvious because it would pop up like it was recommended to me a lot. So I always was curious, and I liked how she like some of the topics she talked about. But I had a hard time following it because I like to look at faces and like see someone talking. So she always would talk over art, so I was kind of confused. So I tried it a couple times, and then never got into it. But yes, I've seen the account back like probably a year ago, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, she was like always pushed by the algorithm. She was like actually on a roll when this happened, which is what
Yeah.
makes the situation even worse, even more tragic, if you ask me. But one of the things that she would always say on her thumbnails was like, "This is not okay." So she
Yeah.
always had a thumbnail with like the person she was talking about or whatever, and she'd say, "This is not okay." So in the lolcow, in the lolcow posts, she had this like little like red text saying this is not okay. It was just like so obvious that was her.
Yeah.
But that's not really the problem. Like the problem was that lolcow has some rules, and one of the rules, for example, she broke some of them. So, but one of the rules that she broke, one of the last ones, was that she doxed her sibling. So she actually doxed her own sibling on lolcow. So that's what prompted the lolcow admins to just out her. So they outed her, and they were like, "This is Shannon Creepshow Art, and this is the we are absolutely sure this is coming from the same IP address, from the same address." Um, so it was like crazy when this happened, because the posts that she was posting on there were like trashing D'Angelo Wallace,
Hmm.
who is like a huge YouTuber in the commentary space.
I just saw a
And
video
they
about
were,
him come up that he's gone or something right now, D'Angelo from the internet.
yeah, I saw that. I mean, he's not gone from the internet. I think he's just from YouTube. But
Hmm.
I wasn't aware of the drama. Yeah, but I
I
did
have no
see that. I
idea.
didn't notice that he was not popping up.
Mm.
Cam is up more. Not
The
sure what
audio.
that means. Oh, okay.
I'm trying to fix it.
Should I
I
put
think
it down?
I'll drop yours a little bit. Is that better? Testing, testing. One, two, one, two.
Testing.
Sounds like he needs to be like,
Okay.
okay.
So
I think it's my microphone. My microphone is like on the fritz, everybody. I have another one that I have not plugged in yet, but this one is, I was trying to give it one last chance, but alas.
well, we're giving it.
Try to. Okay. I'm not talking as much today anyway, so it's a good thing. It's better that it's this way, not that cam's lower.
This is better though. I can hear you louder now, so I think
Better?
it's
Okay.
gonna. Yeah.
I touched the mic, so that was the thing I was afraid of, so it didn't go off. So, all right. Continue. I'm sorry. Thank you, everybody.
so, So I'm glad we we got that. Um, basically, okay. So when uh, so Creepshow art was like, and I talked about this on in one of my videos like a month ago or something when she came back, and I said that I think that one of her strategies for succeeding on YouTube was that she made friends with everyone. Like she was like everyone knew her, like small or big, and not only did they know her, but like she would interact with everyone like over messages and group chats and whatever in private and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And um so it's no surprise that she was friends with lots of the people in on YouTube, and especially lots and lots of the commentary channels, small and big. Like she just and she also was an arts channel, so she would draw in the background and use this opportunity to get other people to draw, like other artists, and showcase their work while she was talking in the background. So that also kind of helped her like come across as like this like lovely big YouTuber giving a hand up to smaller YouTubers. And she did that to me, because like
Mm-hmm.
I was also like something like 4,000 subscribers, and she showcased me. But, uh, you know,
Were you doing art at the time?
it
Like,
was,
were you doing art, anything related to artwork at all? Or were you just doing
oh
commentary?
no, just commentary. But
Mm.
like, basically, this was a topic that she took for her channel to talk about. So she used a clip from mine and essentially just kind of like what she would call now, or what she called recently, like platforming me. But I don't know
Mm.
if that's quite like
The right phrasing.
accurate, but
Yeah.
okay.
We'll
Yeah,
call it that
she
for the
gave me a
sake
shout
of.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So she would do this and she made friends with a lot of people. And I think this is her strategy to kind of get people not to talk about her in case something comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but she would donate people. She would donate money to people. Like she donated money to me. She donated loads and loads of money on like people's live streams, stuff like that. Like this was just, you know, she just was very generous with money.
Yeah.
And more recently, she has turned around to say that we should give her the money back. So, um,
Good luck.
I don't know. So basically, when a person like her is like, first of all, very righteous, and she's kind of like us, like if you will, because but worse,
I
because
know.
like we're not like constantly being like, oh my god, we're so much better than everyone else, and we're just like criticizing them because of that. We're just criticizing them because we see something like kind of tricky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, she had this like kind of righteous attitude and criticizing like a lot of people, and she was criticizing people for being homophobic and transphobic. And then on lolcow, the posts that she was posting were transphobic and homophobic, and even her sibling is like non-binary, but Shannon called her a she all the time,
Mm.
which made me make a mistake in my video, and I
Mm-hmm.
got called out for it because, like,
You were
I don't know,
repeating
I was
what
under the impression
Shannon was saying. Yeah.
yeah, and so there was like a lot of transphobia, homophobia, racism,
Mm.
and not only that, but all these friends that she made on YouTube. All these influencer friends, she was trashing them big time, and including D'Angelo Wallace, and also Ready to Glare was one of her closest friends. And Ready to Glare actually made a video at the time, and she said that week when before these things came out, she took flowers from Creepshow art.
Mm.
So I don't know, is that like a preemptive I apologize for what's about to come, or I don't
Or
know.
don't get mad at me when something bad happens because here's some flowers.
Well,
We'll never
yeah.
know, I guess. It's just
So
assumptions.
exactly. Like I don't know, but I think it was just like kind of a weird gesture of sorts, because at even the sorry, no, not D'Angelo, Ready to Glare at the time.
Mm.
So okay, so when she got outed by lolcow, obviously like everyone was like, whoa, okay, this is not the Shannon we thought we knew, and so on. So that's not actually what got her canceled in the first place. But when this happened, Shannon came up with this like crazy story about how she had this stalker for 8 years, which is a video she had on her channel. But turns out that she was actually the stalker. She was just like Emily's stalker. And she posted years ago a story time saying that she had a stalker, like 2 days after Emily tweeted that she had a stalker or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and essentially just kind of like projecting what she was doing onto someone else. Like, I'm not the stalker, somebody else is my stalker type thing. And if Emily was to come out and say, I had the stalker, they'd be like, wait, just Creepshow just dropped a video like that. Are you copying her content? You know, she like couldn't
Yeah.
actually do that. So
It's a
it,
pretty
it
good
kind of
plan. It's horrible, but it's a pretty smart plan, I gotta say. Like, to come out with something that you're doing so that if someone accuses you, it's like, well, no, you're just copying me. It's creepy,
yeah, it's
creepy
very
smart.
cunning.
Yeah, cunning. That's a good word.
Yeah. And it's just it's like, so it actually just makes my hair like rise on my arms. Like, it's just so like crazy to think about, like just the how meticulous her
Mm-hmm.
plan was, you know. And I don't think it was ever in the books that look out her, but she just got cocky,
Yeah.
I think. um so anyways, all this is actually, oh, I was gonna say, she came out with this like community post explaining that somebody has been spoofing her IP address because she had this stalker for 8 years, and this person has been impersonating her on an anonymous account on
Yikes.
Lolcow. Obviously, this is complete bullshit, but it took us a minute to really just kind of realize that.
Yeah.
And I remember like Ready to Glare tweeting about it, being like, "Oh, go give her some love or something because this has happened to her." And like, even her, and Ready to Glare is like a very skeptical person. So even her, she was like, but they were close friends. So of course she believed her, you know?
Well, that's the thing. I
And
think it takes away your critical thinking because, obviously it doesn't seem realistic, doesn't seem like possible, but because you have that emotional connection, then you believe it because it's like, well, this person, I know this person closely. They wouldn't lie to me. But I think talking about the other influencers that we discuss on this channel and other channels and our channels, where it's that parasocial relationship, that's the key to convincing people of whatever you want. It's like, make a relationship happen, make an emotional connection happen, and then you can lie to them much easier. So that's what it kind of feels like. Send flowers, and then people won't think critically as much as they would if it was someone that they didn't know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it worked really well for her. It really did. And um obviously then people started to come out more and more, and especially people who were like trained in like IT, and they were like, "No, that's just complete and utter bullshit. How
Yeah.
can somebody like spoof your IP address and like post for 3 years on a site that is anonymous? Like, why
Yeah.
would they, with the assumptions that someday you might be outed and your anonymity would be revoked? And obviously, like, that was just such a convoluted bullshit story. And
Yeah.
at the time, I even remember messaging her on Instagram, and she was like, "Oh, if somebody's like," and she always had these like really long fucking ass explanations that just confused me, because I remember reading that message and being like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Like, and basically she was like, somebody's just like taken control of my channel and changed the profile picture, and now it was like, basically like the profile picture on her channel was changed to a glitch picture. Like,
It's anonymous. It's the group Anonymous. They're coming after me. Like, why? Because I
it's
make art.
obviously, because
Yeah.
that's what you would do if you were like a hacker. You would just be like, let me put this picture as a glitch
Yeah.
to just make it really obvious that I'm a hacker. Like,
Yeah.
no,
In a
it's just so
hoodie in like
dumb.
the green black room. Yeah. I'm I'm
Yeah,
patching into the mainframe right now. Like, okay.
exactly. And basically the story didn't hold up for long, and then more people started to come out and be like, Creepshow has done this to me, and Creepshow has done this to me. And it was just, it was a lot. It was
So
a
what
lot
was
at
the thing
once.
for you? So she was kind of your friend at first, or online friend, or supported you. What was the thing that made you go, "Oh shit, this is not what I thought it was"?
So first when this happened, I realized it was just like some movement online, but like I was like not on top of what was going on. So I messaged her, but I did come across something about Hello Leash, who's now canceled herself. So anyway, so Hello Leash had posted a video saying that Creepshow had called her the C word.
Mm.
So that was a thing. And when this happened, I messaged Shannon and I was like, wait, is this about Hello Leash? And literally, like, my last message to her, because I looked at it right now, was like, oh, just don't worry, this too shall pass. I was just like making light of it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is something that happened a year ago. Like, who cares? Like, okay, so this, you called her the C word, whatever. I'm sure that she probably doesn't like you either. So I
Yeah.
just like, I was like, it's not a huge
Not the
deal,
end
you know?
of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So when this happened, she didn't contradict me. She didn't say, no, no, it's not about Hello Leash at all. Like she was like, she didn't respond to my last message. Um, but essentially, just she let me believe whatever it was, you know? She didn't step in to say anything.
Hmm.
And then obviously these things came out and I made a video being like, okay, I'm not quite ready to just like just say that she's not right. I was like, I think it could still we didn't because it took like a minute on the internet. I don't know what a minute on the internet is like a week maybe.
For everyone to come out with their commentary video of themselves saying like, "This is what happened to me."
To just yeah to kind of realize that the spoofing IP thing was
Mm-hmm.
complete BS. Like it took us a minute, and I remember making a video. It's still like on my channel, being like, I'm not ready to give her I'm not ready to like throw her under the bus here because she's been a really good friend to me and like
Yeah.
I was talking about that and I'm like maybe let's just hold on and give her the benefit of the doubt and just
That's
even
nice of
it
you.
like
That
probably
is
the
nice
same
of you.
day.
Yeah.
But like the thing is like I couldn't quite because like I couldn't wrap my mind around it because it was like no, Shannon is like lovely, like she's been lovely to me, she's been lovely to so many people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had watched lots and lots of her videos and I knew all this backstory that she had, that she was homeless and lived in her car and she had all sorts of trauma about that. And so I was like, just I don't know what this is about, but I don't think it's like true. I don't think it's about her. Like I was waiting for
Mm-hmm.
someone to come and like be like, "Oh, we've discovered this wasn't her. Like this was someone else, like whatever." Like that's what I thought at the time. I was
Yeah.
like, even when it became like obvious that the IP was like that, I was still like, no, this just something's like not right. Like something's gonna come out and be like, oh, this person has been like playing some joke and they're just sorry now or something, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and then that never happened. And more videos popped out and being like, no, the lolcow admins have confirmed this is true. This is not a mistake. This is the address in Las Vegas. And when they said Las Vegas, I was like, oh shit, because I knew that she lived there. And I was like, okay, no, that's her. And it was just that's what canceled her.
Yeah.
That's literally what canceled her. And lots of people forget about this. And they kind of jump to like Emily Artful because the Emily Artful video was like she got like 4 million views on it. So it was insane. And it came out Emily had figured things out a long time ago, but she never was able to say anything because obviously Creepshow was flourishing on YouTube. Like she was well loved, she was well liked. And when this happened, she finally was like, I'm
It's
gonna
my
speak out and
time
just
to.
gonna tell my story.
Yeah. It's my time to come
Yeah.
out with everything. Yeah. Well, I feel
Yeah.
like not to
And
compare the two because obviously they're very different, but like it reminds me of like the Harvey Weinstein whole debacle. Like one person came out, nothing happened. Another person came out to like the police or whatever, nothing happened. And then once the story broke, and then like 10 women came out, all of a sudden the floodgates open. Everyone's like, "I've been holding this secret for 20 years," and I feel like that's pretty common when it comes to these things, because you don't want to be the one that comes out first. And even like the Jeffrey Epstein, like the one woman came out like years ago, or went to the police, nothing happened, and then finally over like 20 years, all the information comes out, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I always knew this. But it takes a couple people to come out and like be brave and say the truth, or say what's their truth. And I think that's kind of interesting. Obviously this is much lower stakes than those two cases that I named, but still kind of in the same vein of, you want to hold out hope until there's too many people that it's like, okay, this conspiracy can't be 30 people deep, it's just unrealistic.
Yeah, and it was dangerous for Emily too, because they had been stalking her and harassing her for like something like 9 years
It's
at that
crazy.
point, and they got her fired from several jobs by sending like inappropriate videos of her, because um she did like some camming, and she had like a Facebook account that they had managed to take over. And she had pictures, and she was underage, and she had pictures where she was like, I don't know if naked, because I've never seen them, or I don't think anyone has seen them, but like other than creep, like shantani, as people have come to call them. um and they were holding those over her head, and they when she got hired, like in a couple of places, they sent videos of her to those companies, and she got fired. And Emily, all this time, she was struggling with like addiction, and
Mm.
um she was desperately trying to get her life together. And every time she got close to getting her life together, basically they ruined it for her.
Mm.
So, and then they started to like, she even moved, and then they started to kind of like she basically, there's so much in that first video. Basically, she showed some screenshots from Snapchat, and this Snapchat account, which was probably Anthony, um, was sending her like pictures of locations that were close to her, like a library or stuff like that,
Hmm.
with like really creepy taglines and shit like that, to just scare her that they're kind of coming after her type thing.
Hmm.
And she said that she doesn't know if it was the actual one in her city, or a different, like the same library but in a different city or whatever. But it was, can you imagine just how scary that is? And
It's weird.
I don't know, there's just so much shit like that. And obviously that, like, there was just no way that you could ignore that. Like, that was just like so, you like, you can hear Emily's pain when you're listening. Like, you can hear her, like she's
Mm-hmm.
like, so that's probably why she was so afraid to come out before, because she probably would have come out before, but
Yeah.
she was afraid because, like, she had to. And now at the end of her video from yesterday, she said that she's been taking like really a lot of precautions, and trying to keep her identity hidden and her locations hidden, because she has kids, and
Mm. Oh my
she
God, I didn't know
can,
that.
yeah. And it's just like,
Jeez. That throws a whole, to me, I know that's kind of not fair to say, like, well, having kids makes it more horrible, but it does sort of, because the kids are truly uninvolved, innocent, that's their mom. They have nothing to do but depend on her for like probably everything. Your parents are everything. So to have your mom be, under threat of any kind is horrible for them too. So yeah, that's even a bigger level than I realized.
yeah, yeah, no, it's really serious. It's really scary, really, to think about this. And obviously this traumatized her for a long time, and she tried, I don't know, it's like when these things came out about Shannon, and she posted that community post and stuff like that, you could read it with like, mm, okay, I guess whatever, would give her the benefit of that. But when you listen to Emily's video, like, you just know that she's not lying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that
Mm-hmm.
this is real. Like, it's just so obvious that this is just the best way that she managed to piece it together
Mm.
in order to find out that this was them, because like she didn't know for a very long time. And
Yeah.
she had an online presence. She had like been on YouTube since like for years and years. So, and even before this channel she had like some other smaller channels, and
Mm.
she did some videos. She was, it was like anime commentary, and she was in a bathtub or something, and at the time that attracted like a lot of hate. So she for a while didn't realize this was them. She thought it might be other people. And they
Random.
also,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
just like, yeah, random like people from the internet. And they would also have all these sock accounts and message her like all sorts of things, and sometimes try to get close to her, and sometimes try to like threaten her. And it was just, and then she realized at one point that there were two voices, two different voices.
Mm.
And that's when she realized that Shannon was involved, because Anthony's voice, like Anthony's writing, sounds different. And
Mm.
it's just, do you want to, should we look at the first video instead of this, just
Yeah.
to kind of,
Is this the one, the
maybe for
undone
like 10
Shannon?
minutes, just to show you?
The video that you.
No,
The
it's
one.
just a little,
Let me find it.
so this is the last one, but let's look at the first one, because that's
Do you remember what it's
I
called?
just think we should, uh Creepshow art has always been this way, I think.
Okay, I see it. I see it. I'm switching screens now. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily. If you're not familiar with who I am, I have been making art content here on YouTube for the past 6 years. For the majority of those 6 years and several years prior, I had been facing stalking, harassment, and threats from one very recognizable source. For many years, I had no idea who this person was. I had speculations, but they were pretty far off. And because of that, I had to endure that abuse. I went to the police. I was turned away. I spoke to an attorney. They told me it's not going to be worth it taking it to court. I even went as far as hiring a private investigator for a short period of time, and he said the same thing. The PI and the attorney advised me that I needed to start taking screenshots of everything that I could and keeping track of what was happening to me. This story is long, so I recommend you watch it at 1.5 speed if you can. It's long because this stalking campaign has lasted the better part of a decade. And while I didn't know who my stalker was before, now I know who my stalker is. My stalker is Shannon, better known as Creepshow Art, and what I believe to be her current husband, Anthony Parker, who is also my abusive ex-partner. This has been my life. This has been the thing that has terrified me, that has kept me up at night. It was incredibly difficult, but also incredibly cathartic. And Shannon, Anthony, if you're watching this, you have no idea what you guys have done to me. You think it's funny. You think it's something you can laugh about behind the scenes. You think it's retribution because I was a drug addict. You have made my life so much more difficult than it ever needed to be when I was in an incredibly vulnerable place. And what you have done is sick and twisted and cruel. And I hope that you never have the chance to do that to anyone else ever again. When I went into recovery for the final time, I did the work. I worked hard, and I had to take a long, hard look at myself in the mirror. And it wasn't pretty. It was ugly and it was broken, but I had to do it in order to change. Shannon, you need help. And this is me and everyone else asking you to go get help. Not just for yourself, but for the people that you have hurt. You need to take that long, hard look in the mirror like I did and see the ugly, broken pieces. There's no magic glue to put every single piece back together perfectly, but once it's all put back together, there is a clear reflection. I have to say, for legal purposes, that everything in this video is alleged. I just encourage people to look at the evidence and form their own opinions. I also want to say I originally censored Anthony's name in this video. I called him Andrew, just kind of out of a habit. But I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. His handle online is Anthony Parker, and he raped me, and he emotionally abused me and manipulated me when I was most vulnerable. And for the better part of the decade, he tried to make my life a living hell. Thank you, everyone, and here's the video.
Wow. Okay,
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be...
Let's start with that intro. Oh my God. I had not seen that until right now. So I don't think, well, I don't know. Who knows? But I don't think that seemed to me that she was being disingenuous. It seemed like she was telling the truth, and she's very well spoken. I don't think that you could lie like that. I mean, you never know, but it didn't seem like a lie or some sort of act to me, at least.
No, I no, there is no way this is this story is just so heartbreaking. Like you couldn't make it up. You
Now,
just couldn't.
was Emily always open about her drug use, substance abuse?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
wonder. I wonder if people thought like that's something an addict would say, or like, oh, she's lying, or she's on drugs again, or something where people don't take you seriously because of your history. I wonder if that played a factor in all of this.
Well, Shannon tried to like. So Emily was initially her drug use started with like medication because she was diagnosed as like wrongfully diagnosed as like bipolar, and I can't remember what else, but essentially she was put on some medication. She was like young, she was like 14, and she started to abuse that. And basically, Shannon tried in her last video to just be like, Emily couldn't have been addicted to heroin like at 14 because here's her saying she was sober and whatever. But like, that was so long ago. Emily's 30 or 31 now. Can you imagine having to go back into someone's history for 15 years
Yeah.
and like be like, here's a piece of a video from Instagram that I found from Emily's, like I don't know which one of the all the accounts she has archived since like a million times, in this 1 minute or in this 30 seconds she said like she's celebrating her sobriety. And it's like, yeah, but like like I don't know, like sobriety is not like and you probably I don't know if you're comfortable talking about that, but like um Emily has talked about the fact that it's not linear. It doesn't just, you don't just like turn a switch on
Yeah.
and suddenly you're like sober.
Not many people do that. Not many people go, oh, I'm an abuser of drugs, or even someone who does drugs or alcohol or whatever, and then just the next day go, I'm done, I never want to do it again. That's why rehabs exist. That's why there's programs and AA meetings and things for people, because it is so difficult to do. So it's definitely most likely 90% of the people that are sober now probably took a non-linear path to get there.
Yeah, but Emily's been like talking about this like for always. She one of her the last thing she says in every video is like stay out of trouble. Like she's just always, she's been open about these things. You know, she it's very clear that she has actually done the work, like what she just said in this clip. She has actually like looked at these things and she kind of got healed from all these things. So at least to me, like I can see a person who's self-aware. I can see someone who's just not who's not trying to like bury stuff and just, you know.
Yeah, well, it seems like, and the reason I ask is because I feel like if she was, and I see a comment that said she's been open for years about her, struggles, that gives her more credibility to me, because it's not like once this started happening, all of a sudden she kind of came out and said, oh, I was an addict in my past. If she's been open the whole time, there's really no personal gain for her to make up a story that has, garner sympathy, because she's already been open and honest about other things. So yeah, to me, it even gives another point to Emily that I would feel like, yeah, okay, this person seems legitimate, but I can understand why the police or people, the lawyers, say it's not worth it, because if you put her on the stand and she's got a history of any abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, whatever, it's very difficult for a jury, if it was to get that far, at least in the United States, to get past that. And I think a lot of times, if you have anything incriminating in your past, you're screwed in the court, a lot of times.
Yeah.
So it's an unfortunate truth. I don't agree with it, but I can see why she was turned away, unfortunately, many times.
I think this was also before she had all the evidence, like because at the time, like for a long time she didn't know She didn't
Yeah.
have like evidence, but then she started and you'll see in the video that she talks about this, and she shows like screenshots and stuff. She
Mm.
started to track things, and at one point even baited them by sending them like a link or something to click, and they took the bait, and she tracked a location, and that's a
Ah.
location that Shannon said out loud in my interview, because I interviewed her for my channel at the time, when
Mm.
before, like, wait, no, at the time, not at the time, like way before, like 8 months before or something like that, in November 2020.
Mm.
And she said that she would go to the Tigard Oregon Library. And Emily, after seeing my video, because like it was another YouTuber who's a T channel here called Truth Sleuth,
Mm-hmm.
she caught it. She went back to my video, and she was like, Shannon said that she would go to this library in Tigard, Oregon. And then she sent this to Emily, and Emily was like, "Oh my god, this is the, like, look at the screenshot. This was like, because she had blurred it before. She was like, this was the
Ah.
location that she found when she baited them. So maybe now they would take her a lot more seriously. But also
Yeah.
like like you can imagine, like, the internet is still kind of new. It's still kind of like difficult to prove like online stalking, like
Yeah.
what constitutes stalking, because like obviously we follow each other like on Instagram all the time, so it's kind of hard to, I think that's why she was mostly just turned away, because like
Yeah.
it's
That's
just a
true.
hard.
Yeah, it's hard to prove. And I, from not experience personally, but from what I've heard from other people talking about it, basically, if you go to the cops, they have to have threatened you with physical violence. And even then, it's still like, we could press charges, but it probably won't do anything. There needs to be a legitimate physical threat to get like a restraining order. And then the person has to break the restraining order to then actually pursue any legal charges. I was on a jury one time, and the only time I've ever been on a jury, but it was a stalking charge. It was online and in person, but we spent almost zero time on the online portion, and it was all about who showed up at whose house at what time, because that was the thing that they could prove, and it was actually like a physical threat. But there was this woman, this is totally an aside, but the woman that was on trial and the case I was in, she had made a website calling her neighbor like the devil and writing like thousands of pages of like just disparaging things about her looks and what she did at home and all this stuff about her neighbor. And that wasn't even allowed in court. So that's how far behind the court system is with online stalking and that sort of thing. So yeah, cyber crimes is like a joke, I think, a lot of times in the United
What?
States. Yeah.
That's insane. How can they not take that, like?
Wasn't allowed in court. I didn't know about it until I got off the jury. I mean, we found her guilty for the physical stalking, but then all that other stuff came out when I was researching the case, because I was interested, because we weren't allowed to research during the trial. You have to stay totally neutral, which I did. But after it's over, you're free to do whatever you want. And then I found all this stuff, and obviously the police knew about it, the lawyers knew about it, but they didn't allow that to go into court. It's very interesting.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, that makes it, yeah, that really just makes it clear that this is, it's hard, because like imagine what Emily would bring, like she would bring like screenshots and be like,
Yeah.
how can you know what I mean, like it's very hard
It's hard to
to
prove.
prove something, but like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think it's just like scary, because like imagine getting a message, like even us, like imagine getting a message out of nowhere being like, I'm in your city, like, because like
I would be
Anthony's
terrified.
messages, and if we get to them, I don't know if we will, because like the video is very long, but like if we get to them, you'll see like Anthony's messages were creepy, like they were very like just kind of like creepy, but in a poetic way, but still creepy nonetheless.
Something's wrong with this guy too. I feel like we've been focusing on, because she's a creator, on Creepshow art, but her husband is probably also
Oh yeah, he's
equally or
probably the one
worse.
behind it.
Yeah.
No, he's the probably, like, I would go as far as to say that he's the one that manipulated Shannon into doing it.
That's
You know,
crazy.
because like yeah, Shannon probably was insecure about Emily, because you can see Emily is like a beautiful woman, and they had been together and stuff like that, and but there's a lot like,
It's like jealousy
let's
and control and all those things
but I
mixed into
think
one.
that this is coming from him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And
He's jealous about her moving on with her life probably, and then somehow rope this person in. Maybe, I don't know. We're speculating at this point, but
yeah.
interesting.
Well, she made a different video in which she said the title is Creepshow didn't work alone, and
Let's find it.
like
I'll find that. Hold on.
the thumbnail, you see the thumbnail is like kind of Anthony with like, or not Anthony, but like a person with like a knife on top of like Creepshow with a knife.
Okay, I see it.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I'm playing the ad first. Okay, skip ad. All right. Stand by. We're gonna go into this scene right now. There you go. Okay. Oops.
Exchanges that come. Some things said in this video are personal suspicions and feelings. None of what I discuss has been settled in a court of law. What I am able to prove are exchanges that come from my own personal accounts on my personal cell phone. I encourage you to take all the evidence I provided here in my previous video on Twitter, as well as the multiple testimonies from witnesses to the suspected stalking and harassment, and draw your own conclusions. Thank you. Hey guys, today I'm going to prove that the screenshots I featured in my original video about Shannon are real. Obviously, there are a few screenshots that I can't prove, or I can only kind of half prove because Shannon and Anthony deleted their Twitter accounts. Because they did that, even though I was able to retrieve my Twitter data, their responses are still removed from our exchange. The good news is I do still obviously have the original screenshots that I took when Anthony's Twitter account was still active, and I can line up those responses with my Twitter data and my response. Some other good news is that because Shannon reactivated her Instagram, I am able to go on and prove that that whole conversation we had was a real conversation and it came directly from the real Shannon. It actually worked out really well for me that Shannon came back to Instagram, because now I can prove that these screenshots are real, and all these troll accounts saying that it was actually me who was stalking Shannon and Anthony for all this time can stuff it. I also saw some lies being spread about how after Anthony and I broke up, I wouldn't let it go and I wouldn't leave him alone, and all he wanted was for me to leave him alone, which is obviously like the opposite of the truth, because I have screenshots proving that Anthony and I, like I stated in my original video, had a flirtationship, then a professional relationship, all the way up until about 2015. I think what a lot of people are failing to realize is that this took place over the course of many years. Even after Anthony R-worded me, I still continued to have a friendly relationship with him, a close, toxic, codependent relationship with him. And even though it wasn't like a committed or serious relationship, I still associated with him because he fully convinced me that it was just like an embarrassing moment for me. It was something him and I just needed to move past. And I was ashamed of it, so I believed that. It was not until years later in a therapy session that I finally came to terms with the fact that it was R-word. I was intoxicated. I was in and out of consciousness. That is what makes it R-word. I've seen a few channels say that he broke into my home, and if you go back and listen to what I actually said, I never said that. When we were, Andrew and I were kind of still in a flirtatious place, at one point he had come over. I was at my dad's house. I had been using, he crawled through my window. I've discussed this before. That is how I got people in and out of my room secretly. He climbed in through my window, and he had sex with me while I was incredibly and obviously intoxicated by way of heroin. I was nodding off. I was incoherent. And I only, whether it be from being on drugs or it being a trauma, I only remember bits and pieces of it. I clarified that we were in a kind of flirtatious place and that my window was how I let friends in and out, and that he came over and I was intoxicated and he R-worded me. I fully admit that I did not explain it well, but my emotions, when I say they were like so on high when I recorded that video, it was a miracle I was able to get through it. I had to stop on numerous occasions. So I fully admit that yes, I didn't really explain it very well. I feel like most channels, though, understood that he did not break in. I just let him in through my window. It was a purposeful action. The thing that made it an R word, and I've clarified this multiple times, is because I was intoxicated, visibly intoxicated. In case this wasn't already common knowledge, but if someone is visibly intoxicated, they cannot consent. So Shannon telling Tipster that what happened to me is provably false is impossible. She was not there. She was not part of the equation. She did not have my blood to test it for drugs. Coming forward with this was not a victory for me.
Dang, that's heavy. I just wanted to make a comment that, I think her clarifying and making these points and kind of breaking it down and saying like, yes, I could have explained it better and I could have done something differently, I think even continues to make her case even more believable and reasonable, because she's able to say like, well, I could have explained it better, but this is how it went. And I could, the window was open and my definition of what happened is because of this. And yeah, I think to me, and I like I've said, I'm not really as deeply invested into the story. This is kind of my first, I've heard it from you and I've seen your videos, but I was kind of like an outsider, just like curious. Now I feel like she does have a case, probably criminally of some sort. And it's tough because cases like that are nearly impossible because it's a he said, she said thing. Unless there's witnesses, there's like literally nothing you can do, which is horrible, but true. That's just how most of these cases go. They end up settling out of court, or an arrest is made, but then they're let go because of lack of evidence. But I think what she's doing is just putting it out to the world and saying, okay, you make draw your own conclusions. And, the people who she's alleging did this, or he and the girlfriend, their wife, they probably won't ever face criminal charges, but at least they're facing some sort of social negativity from this. And that's probably the best she can do right now, at least, which is unfortunate, but true.
Yeah, and I think this was you can I'm sure you can tell as well, like it's very cathartic for her, and you can imagine after years of seeing someone who's doing so much harm to you just completely succeed online and be seen in this just amazing light. And like, oh my god, she's like holding people accountable for all these awful things, she's lovely, blah blah blah, and just seeing her channel roar and like soar but basically imagine imagine just how painful that must be for you as a victim of that person. This is why actually, like, for example, when I worked in TV in Scotland, I was not able to have someone as a person on screen because they had victims. Like, you're not allowed in the UK to give a platform to people who have done certain crimes or manslaughter and stuff.
Really?
Because because the victims are, like, the families of the victim are alive and they will be impacted. So well, I don't know, there's like, obviously the news is different, but like what I was doing was a sort of documentary that wasn't related to that at all. Like, he was going to be kind of a contributor, but the documentary was not, I wasn't even aware that this happened until like the last minute. So it wasn't like, if it had been a documentary about him and doing the thing, then maybe that would have been different. But like, my documentary was about like the Roma community. It's just, I had nothing to do with that. So there's like a lot of asterisks, I suppose. Like, but in terms of that, when I found out, I was, because I was it was at the last minute, so I was very much like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? Because I don't have like someone to replace him. And then somebody, like my producer at the time, was like, don't worry, because like I think this is a good thing, because I'm not sure that you would have been able to put him on screen knowing, like, with this like
Who
in
would you
mind.
be
So
held responsible for that? Like, if you were to put him on screen not knowing, could you be sued, or could you be in trouble for putting him, or would he just be in trouble, or
no,
both?
I would, I'm the producer, so I would have been.
So you have to do like a background check for everybody, or how does it work?
um No, but you are like, it if it's the production company that is held responsible. Well, I suppose like I suppose like it would be the broadcaster, but then the broadcaster would like
Get you in
just
trouble.
kind of send it down to the production company, because they would be like, you didn't tell us about this, why don't we know about this, you know? So
Interesting.
it would have been and with the BBC, I had like one negative comment once, and like we immediately changed something in the movie. So it's not like there's no, it's not like YouTube where you get like 100,000, like I was immediately called by the
Wow.
by the commissioner being like, hey, we need to take something out and re-deliver, and that costs like money. So it's not like, you know, it, it's pretty serious, they take it very seriously. So
I've never known that. That's very
uh
interesting.
that's why, yeah, it's, yeah, um definitely like there's a lot of like knowledge that you need to have. So I guess this is what the difference would be here, because on YouTube anyone can post, and regardless of whatever victims they might have, you know. So um
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of sad, because I can't even imagine being in Emily's shoes and being someone who's had to, she had to move cities to hide her location, to in order to protect her family. And these people like Shannon, um just thriving on YouTube, and just like, can you imagine, like,
Yeah. No, that's very disappointing. I'm trying to think of a celebrity. I guess it would be again like Harvey Weinstein, like going up and winning Oscars and being called out on like the, you know, on the Oscar stage, and people thanking him in their speeches, and then knowing that he's this like horrible person deep down with all these secrets and manipulations and all that, and then watching his career just like, you know, get so much money, and with more money comes more power to him. And yeah, I can't imagine, you know, something happening to you and watching that person then go on and do so well. But with every person that goes higher and higher, the fall is that much more severe. So the bigger audience you have, when the truth comes out, that's a harder fall, which might be
yeah,
a good way to look at it, I suppose. Like, well, the person, if they were obscure and they got caught, nothing might have come to them. They might have been actually able to get out of it easier. But because of their notoriety, or because of their popularity, now a lot of people know, and maybe her platform's done forever. Or maybe if she posts again, like, no one's going to be interested, or it's going to be all, you know, negative comments.
yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know if she's ever gonna, she said she's not coming back, so we'll see. We'll see if she feels compelled to respond once again. I don't know if she's gonna be able to stop herself from responding to Emily again.
Yeah.
But Emily, I think, is done. Like, I don't think Emily will ever talk about this again.
Yeah.
But I can totally see Creepshow being like, oh, actually, and just because she was so petty in her last video, like the arguments she made
Should we
were,
watch it? Should we watch a little bit of it?
yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen any of her stuff, so let me go find that. Okay. And her page is still up, right? Oh,
Oh yeah, of course.
okay.
Probably still making money from it. Because she
So-
came right before like they would demonetize her. Because like if you're gone from YouTube for like 6 months, you get demonetized. So she came like the day before the New Year's Eve. No,
remember.
the day of New Year's Eve, just because that was the last day, I think.
But I will say that the view count is much lower on this one. I know Emily's had like 3 million or something, or at least the first video. This one only has 400,000 plus. So I mean, that's good. At least maybe people
And
aren't
that's
watching it.
because people just don't want to watch, don't people don't want to give her the view, and people
That's
will
good.
watch like channels like us that talk about it, so that they don't give
Have
her
to.
that support.
I think that's the best way that you can stand up for yourself. Like, if the police aren't taking you seriously and the courts aren't taking you seriously or whatever, and you have, using your platform, whatever it may be, small or large, to bring awareness, I think is a big deal. And it's kind of can make change. It's the only way things really get changed a lot of times in the world. No one cares about it until the media or someone with a platform talks about it. And then the other side of that is to not give the views and the attention and the Patreon support to the people who are possibly committing the acts. So, I mean, it's not like justice in the traditional sense, but it's sort of social justice in a way.
Yeah, yeah. And social justice always precedes legal justice. Like the legal system is always just kind of behind.
Slower, yeah. If
Yeah.
ever catches up at all. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Creepshow Art's video now, and it's very similar as a start to Emily's, which I find interesting. That
Well, you know what? Before we get into it, she needs to make this disclaimer because she dug into Emily's past for 15 years. She has videos from when Emily was a child. And so of course she's gonna put out or copyright disclaimer because it's nothing of hers.
Yeah,
So
it's weird.
it's just it drives me mad.
And it's funny. I love how people, when they're up against the wall, they start to get like really snarky, almost like, "I will take this to court. I will take this matter to court."
Oh,
like,
yeah, you'll see just as she starts, like there's like a big disclaimer, and Emily has come out to say, and I already speculated before that it's bullshit, both of the points that she makes.
Yeah.
And Emily just came out and was like, "This is a complete lie." Like she didn't do any of these two things, but you'll see, just she sounds so like
God.
mysterious and serious. Oh my god.
There's this woman who I've done videos about her on my channel called Chronically Raw Raw, and she was like the first video I did on Keya's World ever, and because she was on TikTok saying that she had like 24 hours to live, and then she's still alive. This was like 2 years ago, and she's got a lot of issues, but it's interesting to follow her story. But she's claimed multiple times, and she claimed apparently in a live stream like this weekend just passed, that she's suing me and that she sent the lawsuit to me. I'm like, I have no idea. I haven't received anything. So I'm all open for it. Like, if you want to sue me, we can go to court. I think it'd be interesting to go to court and fight,
Don't go to court. Just don't accept it because it costs so fucking much.
I know, that's the only thing, but I'll go defend myself so I can learn. Because, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to be bullied into, like, oh, you can't talk about me. It's like, why? You're on a
No, I
public-
mean just don't accept the lawsuit.
Yeah. Just fight
Do
it.
you know what I mean? Because like, no, you don't have to accept it. That's what I think my mistake was. I accepted it because you don't have to accept, and they can't do anything. Like, because it's unless
like,
they're
no.
just
Don't sue me.
yeah. So you're, I don't know.
There's
I
no
think
grounds at all to sue me. She's not a professional person. She's a person on TikTok with a open public account, and all I've done is replay her videos. So maybe she has a copyright claim, but I don't think she even has that. So I'm not worried at all. I just think it's ridiculous that she's
the
telling people
problem
that.
is that in what I've noticed with these things is that the law is an industry, and they don't really care if they have a good claim or not.
Case or not, yeah.
They will take the case, or they will. I mean, I'm sure they have some criteria, but like, most lawyers would just take the case, and you could be in a lawsuit for years with nothing, literally.
And that's how they do it. They will file useless lawsuits just to keep you annoyed and keep you having to come to court, take time off of work, pay money to your lawyer to get them. But you can technically, at least in the United States, you can represent yourself in most cases.
Yeah,
So I wonder.
you can't. The problem is like it's the law is very intricate, and like I noticed that like in my video about Marissa Peer, because I got sued, I said something like the police officers came and gave me a lawsuit, and apparently it was the sheriff's officers, and that's all they needed, like a fucking word is what they needed.
Yeah.
And they got me silenced because of that word, because I said police officer instead of sheriff's officer. So like the lawyers know these things, they
Yeah.
just like they know all the little things that they will do, and if you don't have your own legal representative, you have no idea what to do. Like you
Yeah.
just like you don't even know how to, they have like their own kind of like way of speaking. It's like a
Jargon.
language they use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a literal language, well, not literal, but like it's called legalese or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically if you go by yourself, you're like and they have a lawyer, like you're immediately out of the race, because like it, I don't know how to explain it, but once I was in, I was just so shocked at like how many little things they
Yeah.
would just put like one on top of, they stack them on to each other, and I was just like, this is unreal, like this
Yeah.
is complete bullshit. And my lawyer was like,
Well, yeah.
that's what they will be arguing, and we don't have a defense to this, and we don't have it's like, how do we not,
Semantics.
because like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was just completely shocked, because I did think for a minute, because once I saw once I got my first bill, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah. Do you know the channel H3 podcast?
Yeah.
They're going through something. They had gone, the channel had gone to court and actually got a sentencing for them. Like, they were the winners of the court case. I think it was civil court, because it was a guy who they were making fun of on the podcast, and the guy who was in the video sued for copyright infringement because he had made a video about like working out or something. The H3 podcast made fun of it and showed it on the podcast, and like, made a spoof about it, whatever. So the guy took them to court. Now H3 has millions of dollars, so that's why they were able to see it through. But it changed the case law so that now they can look at that case in future cases. So it did make a difference. So they did sacrifice a little bit of, well, a lot of money for now. The case law is much more updated, so that if you were to show, we're using these videos, most likely we're fine because we're adding to it, we're commenting on it, it's allowed, fair use. But without them going, then that might not have ever happened. But you have to have money to be able to stay. And like, they were going to settle at one point, and then they decided not to, and they're glad they didn't. But when you think you're going to lose millions of dollars and then actually have nothing at the end of it, that's when it's like, oh, maybe I should just go into arbitration and just cut my losses. Yeah. But it sucks, because it's like, I want to go to court and fight for myself, but like, I don't have $1 million. So can I just, don't I have a right to do that?
I said that to my lawyer, because I was like, there's just no way they can win this, like, because obviously
it's hard to win a court case. It's hard to win.
And she even said that it would be interesting, it would be really funny to see Marissa appear like on the stand trying to heal someone of cancer, like that would be hilarious. But so yeah, like everyone was aware, but it's a fucking industry. And like a single document costs like £2,000, like, and you can't like respond through other things, you would respond through these documents. Like, you can't just be like, oh, hey judge, let me just text you real quick, like, this is bullshit. Like, they don't, you have to like file an entire thing every single time, and it adds up like so quickly. I was shocked to my very core, like I couldn't believe how this justice system worked in the UK. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's just made so that you spend an insane amount of money. Like, even accepting the lawsuit, I had to pay like $150 pounds.
Jeez.
Like, even just to take, like,
just to look at it, like, what am I being sued for?
No, not to look at the papers, but in order to be like, yeah, I'm defending myself. Even that part cost, like, just to say that I'm defending myself.
Wow. So what if you said, no, I don't want to defend myself? What would happen?
Like, I would automatically have to do what's in and eventually that's what happened anyway. So do you know how frustrating it is? Like, I spent like 10K.
Oh my God.
I still
that much?
the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, and
Wow.
I got nowhere. This was like within a few weeks.
You know, the only thing I could think of is if it's someone really famous that you pissed off and like you could somehow boost your own public image by taking them on and would in the long run probably get you more like media attention, sponsorships, channel views, like maybe it'd be worth it to invest that 10 grand,
But that's the
but that's a risk.
well, yeah, but the problem is because I was I was doing that. The problem was that they silenced me. They asked. So this is why I'm saying you should never represent yourself because what they did is they filed a specific type of motion or whatever the fuck those are called, um, and they asked for the because I'm someone who speaks about these things on the internet. They used that and they said that I lied by saying it's the sheriff's officer or the police officer instead of the sheriff's officer. So I'm clearly like misleading my audience. So that's what they got to get me to not be able to talk about the lawsuit.
So was
So
it
I
a
wasn't even
gag
able
order?
to like,
Is that what
yeah.
they ugh. That's so unfair.
And
That's ridiculous.
my lawyer said this is not a joke. Like you can't say anything.
Wow.
So like that's what I'm trying to say. Like they just and this wasn't even like a good lawyer that she had. This is like an average media lawyer.
Yeah.
And but that's how the law works and they know it and they just use all these things and literally the smallest mistake like a word will just get you silenced
Derail you
forever. Like
completely. Yeah, that's horrible. I'm sorry that happened to you. I hope that doesn't happen to me, but you know, we'll deal with that. I just don't think that. I think someone with money, you know, obviously the person that sued you had some funds to use.
oh yeah, she's rich as fuck.
Yeah, so as long as I don't piss off anyone super rich. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. In a way, it's like I kind
Yeah.
of want to do it, but I don't have money, so it's like at the same time I don't want to have to go through the harassment of it all.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just get our channels. Like everybody just subscribe.
Yeah. Watch this
Let's
12
get this
times.
channel to like millions of subscribers. And then
Go to court.
but then we'll actually have like there might be damages, then they will be able to prove damages.
Yeah, maybe we should go to law school. Like maybe we should start a law school
Oh my God,
fund.
let's do that.
We can fund ourselves and then we can defend ourselves in court.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would go to law school.
Just
Oh
to
my God,
defend
I'm
myself.
such a good debater, I think.
You
Like,
are.
now all the people in the comments be like, actually.
No, I think you are. Well, I haven't seen you on a debate in a courtroom, but I think you have the skills. You have logical reasoning pretty well.
Is that what it takes?
Grit.
No idea. Great. I have that.
You have
Or
grit.
I had that.
You do. Well, the case that I was in, that I was talking about, that I was on the jury, she defended herself, which I thought was very shocking. She didn't have a lawyer for a criminal case, and they allowed it because she somehow proved that she was of right mind and she has a right to defend herself or have a lawyer, and they let her defend herself. So it was interesting. It was an interesting
she
perspective.
lost.
She lost, yeah. And she would have, honestly, she would have won. If she had a lawyer, because there was enough there that I felt like needed to be looked into and cast doubt in my mind. But it was like said and then pushed away and then focused on this other part. So she made it hard for herself to win. Because there was a day where I was like, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the corruption here. And then they never brought it up again. I was like, all right, well, you lost me now. But yeah, it's an interesting case. I want to talk about it on my channel, or maybe we can talk about it on this channel one day, because the case was so bizarre and weird, and I feel like people.
Are
would
you
find it
allowed to?
interesting. Yeah.
Is it public?
Yeah. Once you're out, once you've done your duty as a juror, you're free to talk about it. I could write a book about it. It's not that big of a case. But
Well,
I could, you know. Because every juror, that's why some people want to be on juries, because for big cases like Casey Anthony, or I was talking earlier about the George Zimmerman case, like people will try to get on the jury so that afterwards, or the OJ case, so that they can then write a book or become like a personality that talks about the case. So they have to be, people are, the lawyers try to be wary of that type of person, because there is money involved
Yeah.
if you're in a big case. That's interesting. But yeah, you're allowed, at least in the United States, you're allowed to talk about it once it's over. Once the conviction has been put down, which is basically right after, you know, whenever the sentencing is, you're good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Maybe it's different in
I have
United
no
States
idea how it is.
or UK.
I don't even know how it is here in Romania.
I only know because I went through it. That's the only reason I learned any of this stuff at all. Because I was there for a week and a half. I was in the court. So,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, people have gone, for murder cases, it's much longer usually, but for a stalking case for 1 week was kind of long, actually. Anyways, okay, do you want to watch this video?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's 2 hours and a half, but let's watch like a few
first little
minutes.
bit. Okay, deal.
If you are seeing this video, it means one of two things has happened. Either one, my lawyers negotiated with Emily's lawyers and we reached a private settlement which resulted in some form of retraction, or two, I took Emily to court for defamation and came out the other side. This video is being made for posterity to show I didn't do what I was accused of, and to show that what Emily has accused me and my husband of not only never happened to her, but could not have happened. This video is being made to simply defend my and my husband's name and prove we did not do the things we were accused of. I am going to go through Emily's statements point by point with evidence to show how she has lied on screen, and I'm going to leave links in the description box down below to everything I'm talking about. That way you can verify the authenticity. The only things I will not be linking will be Emily's Facebook accounts, of which there are 3, where she goes by different names, because they are all seemingly active. 99% of the evidence shown in this video is going to be from Emily's own accounts, including posts from her Emily Artful YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. All of these are publicly accessible, all of these were found after she made these false claims, and all of these accounts link directly back to Emily and no one else. These accounts do affirm parts of her story, but they completely debunk and disprove others. I will show them in their entirety so you can draw your own conclusions. I will also be including archival links, seeing as Emily herself has stated she has deleted all her evidence involving this. Emily's narrative that I stalked her is in part made, I believe, so that when I show proof of her lies from her own accounts, she can further claim that that in and of itself is stalking. Emily created a false narrative, so no matter what is said after, even if I debunk all of her claims, she can still claim that she is the victim. That is why I made the decision to handle this legally before I ever responded back publicly. Any person claiming to be me before this on any other account was not me. I only spoke to one person once on Instagram, that being Tipster, who I will address more thoroughly at the end. While Emily states she deleted all the evidence, that is clearly untrue. I have found plenty of evidence that shows that what she said happened never actually happened, all of which was found after she made her video, and the majority of it is from her own account.
What?
I think you went off a little bit. What'd you say?
Oh, why is there a picture of a child on the screen?
Is that her child?
Why?
Maybe?
Why would you post pictures of Emily's children?
Also,
And by the way, Emily has already said that none of the two things happened, so this is complete bullshit. Like, I don't even know why she, like, what the fuck?
so they didn't settle outside of court, and they didn't.
No.
She didn't have a defamation win, because obviously that would be recordable and easily.
She didn't even sue her.
Great.
She didn't even sue Emily. Like, she just sent a letter of cease and desist, essentially, that was co-written by Shannon and the lawyer. Like,
So
the
probably was
letter
just written
sounds
by
exactly
Shannon.
like what you read.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
like she got one of these cheap lawyers that just like make you write your own letter and then they send it.
They stamp it or something. Interesting.
Yeah.
Someone put it in the comments, but it was where was it? Oh yeah, a drawing of Super Mario debunks her story. I saw that too. But why was the production value so low of that text? But then, like, she obviously has some editing skills to put up all these screenshots with sound effects. It just seems so bizarre that, like, she would have that gray on gray background with text to make it look like she doesn't know how to use a computer. But then obviously she knows how to edit. So I don't know what the point of that is, but it's very
I guess
weird.
she didn't want to draw in the background anymore.
I guess not. Weird. It's like you can't put black on white? Like, why would you put
I
gray
mean, you
on
need to
gray?
draw for 2.5 hours, so
Yeah, weird. So I'm not convinced. I mean, just based on like,
just to see how serious it is.
I guess like this is no gray area, even though the whole screen's gray. I mean, just based on the two like accounts on the beginning of the intros, Emily seems much more credible and thought through and thorough and believable than hers thus far. But obviously, I'm biased because I already kind of believe Emily, so I don't, that is obviously affecting my opinion. But nothing here. I was like, wow, like that was really gut-wrenching or something that I find like interesting. That seems kind of like she's defending herself, but just by saying like everything she said's a lie. Okay. We need a little bit more deep analysis.
This is not this. Unfortunately, I don't think this video is Shannon defending herself. I think this video is Shannon being like, "Here's all the shit I kept about you, you bitch." Kind of. I think this is essentially what she's
Payback
doing.
again.
She's like trying to embarrass Emily by showing all these things.
Yeah. To make
Like
her
this is
feel
none
bad.
of you'll see if you watch the entire video, you'll see none of these things. Like she has maybe like one point that is pertinent in the entire thing. Maybe one. That's it.
The rest is just like
Like
drama.
it's 2.5 hour video.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rest is just like Emily was so problematic. Like she also broke up with this guy, and then she accused this. She was a teenager.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go back 10 to 15 years and be like, oh, so when Emily was 15 and she broke up with this guy, she said this about him. Like, it's like, okay.
And when she was 10,
So
she
she-
punched another 9-year-old in the face. Like, oh my God. She punched a 9-year-old?
She
Yeah, she
literally,
was
like-
10.
She
Relax.
literally shows the Emily's bedroom walls from when she was 14 and the pillow that Emily had when she was taken, because this guy that we're gonna call Bob, that's what she called him, that's not his real name, but basically he essentially was her lifeline. At one point he took her in, and then Shannon used the picture of a pillow to prove that she was at Bob's house. It's like, so
Did you know that pillows are movable? You can move pillows from place to place.
this is what this video is literally a bunch of stuff from Emily's past that show nothing. Like it was just like, okay, so Emily has been on the internet for a long time. Okay, we got it. She was a teenager on the internet doing and saying things that were like questionable. Okay, but she's now 30 or 31. So
And she's a
have you
former
got something
addict.
recent?
And she's open,
Yeah.
like an open addict. So obviously, there's going to be things most likely that she doesn't agree with anymore, or that have happened that she's no longer a part of. I would imagine.
Yeah, but none of
So-
the things that she says in this video are recent. Like nothing. This is all just from way back when, because that's when her obsession began. I'm assuming. So she
Yeah.
doesn't. Emily moved and she protected her location, so she doesn't have anything recent of her. So all she knows is old shit.
And they lived in Las Vegas together, or like near each other at some point. Is that that's where they lived?
No, they're from San Jose.
Okay.
So Shannon and Anthony moved out of San Jose and lived in a car in Portland and in Tigard, Oregon, and in probably a bunch of other places until they got on their feet. And Emily was also from San Jose, so I think that's where they went. I think they went to the same high school or something. I don't know this for sure, but anyway, that's where she and Anthony were like a couple.
Gotcha.
They were teenagers. Like this is so long ago.
I can't imagine people knowing anything about me as a teenager and putting it on the internet that would not be embarrassing. Like everything I did back then was horrendously embarrassing and something I look back on and like in total shame. Like, oh my God, like I don't even want to think about that, let alone have someone have photographic evidence of it and put it online and explain what was going on. Because I couldn't even defend myself. I'd be like, oh, sorry. I don't know. My bad.
I don't. Yeah, same. Like oh my God, I
got
did the
better.
cringiest things in like the MSN era. Like I just don't want to imagine if somebody screenshotted those things.
Goes from there to worse. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's watch a couple minutes and then we'll see how we feel. I'm curious. Now I'm like invested because now this is like,
Look at even this, like this screenshot on the screen. Do you see it? Do you see that it says like 8 years on there?
yeah, 2012. And she's even saying in it that she's writing about someone who's tormented her. So isn't that more proof that like Shannon has been tormenting her?
No, this video is literally the proof Emily needed to be like, yeah, look.
Now, do
She
you
did
think,
stalk me.
Yeah, right. That's what it seems like, and that she has all these screenshots from this long ago. Come on.
No, she's like trying to, as you, I don't know if you missed it, but she's trying to be like, I've done like extensive research for this past 6 months, but like lots of these accounts have been archived by Emily.
Uh-huh.
So how did she
Magic.
even?
She did the thing that the special techniques from the hacker.
She's a good hacker.
Yeah, apparently. Now, do you
Just
think
except for that IP spoofing, like
she couldn't figure that out. Do you think Anthony writes the scripts for her and she just reads them, or do you think she's more involved?
Oh no, this is her voice completely.
Okay.
This is her.
Okay. Ready.
Meaning she had access to proof that actively went against her claims, and she purposely hid it in order to slander my husband and I. In response to being asked for any proof, she stated that she wouldn't lie about this because it would put her career and reputation on the line, and that my estranged relative and a former friend who physically abused me would also not lie about this as it would hurt their public image, despite neither of them being public-facing people. I will also address them at the end as well. I will be using Emily's full legal name sporadically through this video, seeing as Emily herself places it in the description box of some of her videos, and it's publicly known. This video is going to be heavily itemized, so feel free to skip to whatever chapter of this video you are interested in. Or if you would prefer to read what I am saying, a Google Doc with the script and screenshots will be accessible in the description.
Hold on. We have 4 seconds where we gotta go and watch this ad. Sorry, everybody. Her cadence too is weird. It's like very much like a reporter.
The document itself is 91 pages long as of when I'm writing this.
91 pages? What the hell?
Before I go any further, I want to quickly take the time to point out how Emily talked about her relationship with Anthony on her YouTube channel prior to making this video. In her My Ex-Girlfriend Destroyed My Art video, Emily states that she has only had 2 bad relationships in her entire life, that being with a mutual friend named Sean, who she stated cheated on her, and the 13-year-old she dated when she was 17. She goes on to say this about all of her other relationships.
Now, I don't know if you guys are getting sick of me talking about my exes. I've done a few videos about my love life in general, but now that I kind of think back at it, most of my exes were awesome and cool, and I'm still friends with them, or at the very least, cordial. Now, only 2 of my exes are just completely unbearable. I have no desire to ever get in contact with them ever again, and I have had about 7 relationships of substance in my entire life. The first ex that was just a piece of shit was the one that cheated on me, and his name, we call them Sam. So I'm gonna go ahead and put an annotation for that video right here. I definitely suggest you go over and watch that. It was quite an experience. That's all I can say. The other ex is who this story is about. Penny was a beautiful, charming young girl. We got along incredibly well. She was exactly my type, both physically and mentally, or so I thought. And the only possible foreseeable downfall to our relationship at that time was that she was a little bit immature, and she was a little bit immature because she was 4 years my junior.
This video obviously postdates her dating Anthony by 5 years, seeing as it came out in 2016, which makes me skeptical of her claims that their relationship was ended with physical threats and she was scared of him and Bryce. This video also postdates her relationship with her ex from her I Dated a Sociopath video, where she said that relationship was, quote, the worst she had ever been in, and that he scarred her as a lover, as a friend, and as a person, and that she has never gone through anything as bad as that or as traumatic as that.
This guy is really messed up, and I feel like we're cool now. We don't talk for kind of an important reason, which I will get to later. But, you know, I don't hate this guy. I don't feel resentment towards him. I more have sympathy for him, and I was really close to him.
It says deleted.
Emily created a false...
But didn't Emily address that? Because didn't she say that she went to therapy and it wasn't until therapy that she figured out that it wasn't okay what had happened? So doesn't that kind of like take care of that, like that explanation?
Yeah.
Like, well, she was still, and she admitted that she was having like flirtatious relationship with this guy still because she was on drugs or whatever. She has been taking drugs, and so she thought like it was her fault, but because now she's sober, she sees it differently. That seems fine to me. I
And
don't know.
also she worked with him on some music videos because he is a musician, and she was in some of his music videos after the breakup. So maybe she didn't, but then I don't know if this is the be all and end all. I'm assuming that if you are like traumatized by someone, you're not gonna be like, so let me just like, like you're not just gonna drop like a quick little comment on that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's something like that you'd be like, okay, this is way too heavy to like, I'm just gonna talk about these two. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
little
that's what I would
funnier
do at least.
story. Yeah, I mean, there's no obligation at all to share anything on the internet, so you can share whatever you want. It doesn't mean that something didn't happen to you outside of what you're talking
Not
about.
to mention, this video was like 5 years ago, and she may have not known at the time that the person stalking her was him. So
Yeah.
it's just, is that
And
all you got, Shannon?
it's
Like, this is it?
This is the page 1 out of 90. I would hope that you would start with something a little bit more interesting. A little bit
This was like
more-
even longer than that, because that was the cut down version. It was like 100 and something pages, and she left some things in that, unfortunately, and people found them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Your name was in it, right?
Oh yeah.
You were in those pages, apparently.
Yay.
Oh my god, now we're showing the whole family and stuff. Yeah. Someone says, Tracy read a book, says, Shannon made the mistake of taking all the story times as gospel, not as stories. Yeah, as if she was presenting evidence in court. And that's
Yeah, she was not, it's not a mistake. Like, Shannon is doing this purposely. She's literally throughout this entire video just kind of like, essentially, even like at one point she says that Emily said things that she didn't say, but like with such conviction that you're like, so she would be like, Emily said this, but actually the truth is this, and Emily never said that first thing in the first place, but like she presents it in a way to just kind of,
she's convinced herself
pretty-
somehow that like all of this is she is maybe she does. Sometimes people they get so wrapped up in whatever they think what they're saying is true after a certain amount of time, like you believe it so deeply in your heart that you start to actually think that it's the truth. I don't know.
I don't think it's that bad. I think it's just like she's trying to manipulate perception rather than,
Yeah.
I generally think that, she just wants to come out looking a certain way, but
Better.
this is not what this video did at all.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious. What are the comments still up on here? Yeah. And it says, okay, let me see. You are literally telling on yourself in this video. When Emily was 6, she drew on a mirror with her mother's lipstick. That shows that Emily is manipulative and psychotic. I really hope all of this isn't being labeled as just YouTube drama. This is very severe and horrifying case of stalking. Yeah, I agree. I think it's past the point of just like beefing on YouTube for fun. It's much more sinister than that.
Yeah.
Emily was born. She breathed. Other people need air to survive. This proves how selfish and disgusting she is. Oh my God.
That's like, that's funny, but that's quite literally what she did with this video. She's like, see how bad she was? Like, and it's literally saying she did things as like a teenager. I mean,
Everyone does.
oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, didn't you say that Emily has had some like other unrelated to Creepshow drama recently? Or was I making that up? Did she have like a
No.
She's positive light right now in the YouTube community basically?
No, I don't think it's her. I don't
Okay.
know who.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Maybe
I thought
are you
someone
thinking
else
of
involved-
D'Angelo Wallace?
Maybe. I was thinking someone involved in this like was at one point.
Oh, Hello Leash, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, okay. And now they've been like canceled for
Yeah, that's
separate reasons.
completely unrelated. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Well, does Emily still post like art stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's good. At least she's kind of. I mean, Creepshow art is gone for now, right? Since December.
Yeah.
And
Fingers
Emily's
crossed.
still able to post, and seemingly is growing her channel, as Creepshow loses followers, I would imagine, or at least views.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, it is pretty disturbing.
It's a very disturbing case. I mean, it's not even a case, but like just
Situation.
I've never come across something like this in my life. Like to
Yeah.
me, this is just insanity.
It probably happens, but it hasn't been as well documented because of the YouTube element and the social media element before. Like, I'm sure people get stalked, in this type of way where it's like long term and it's creepy and no one takes you serious. But like the fact that there's all these receipts and all these videos and all these, like, I don't know, evidence, I think that's what makes it more like, wow, shocking. Because we get to see it now, knowing what the end result was. Now we can look back and be like, oh my God, all these like weird clues are there. I don't know.
Do you see this comment? There's a comment in here saying the screenshot they paused on was taken in 2020.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Creepshow Art didn't do this research now. I'm willing to bet that like and people have actually seen this. I've not really sat down to analyze because this is like a long video with a lot of screenshots, but some people have pointed out that some of the screenshots were taken like years and years before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because sometimes you get the title, the like screenshot, and it got a date.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is my research for the last 6 months. Like,
Those screenshots
Shannon
don't
has like an
lie.
entire file with every single move that Emily has ever done. Like,
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Well, I'm glad that Emily's doing well and that she's seemingly to be moving on with her life. She's done talking about this for now, at least, and I think that's probably a good sign that maybe this drama is ceasing to exist, as it probably should never have existed.
I
in the
hope
first
so.
place. Yeah.
I don't think it's Emily really, like, that's the problem. I think that Creepshow I don't think she can stop herself from responding. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think she will. I hope she doesn't. I hope she leaves it alone because, like, seriously, I just think that Emily just needs like a break and
Space.
just because this is hard. Like, this is so personal and so
Weird.
invasive and so. I can't even imagine. Like, honestly.
I agree. I don't know what I would do in that situation, especially for how many years it's been going on. Okay, there's a comment from Ali Colo. I don't know. Ali Colo. Shannon's willingness to share photos of unrelated, barely related people is disturbing to me. It still bothers me that she shared Emily's teacher's name and photo in her video. What? That's weird. Her teacher? What does her teacher have to do with it?
This is the thing. Like, Shannon doesn't have anything really incriminating on Emily. All she has is like cringe stuff
Yeah.
that she's done as a teenager and then a young person. Like, but then she doesn't have anything really that's like, okay, look, she's actually problematic or like. And I think this was not just I think this was probably cathartic in maybe a similar way to Emily being like, finally, I'm getting some sort of like validation for this. And for Shannon, it's like, finally, I get to release all the crap I've kept for years.
It's been in my folders in my desktop for like 17 years, and now I can finally tell everyone that her teacher didn't like her. Like, okay.
Yeah.
We're whatever.
Just.
Very bizarre. Okay.
It doesn't, none of those things really hold up. Like, let me try to remember because I feel like there was one point she made that I remember being like, oh, maybe, but I don't even remember it now. Like,
It can't be that good, yeah.
yeah.
If if it's not coming to mind immediately.
It was like what was it? Like I'm trying to think. But basically what she tried throughout this entire video is to be like, see, you shouldn't trust Emily because she lied before, or you shouldn't trust Emily because she had these accounts and she deleted these accounts, or like
Yeah.
people in oh, this was the point, I remember now. Okay, so one of the points she made is like when Emily had that anime YouTube account. She was doing anime reviews and she was doing them in a bathtub. Apparently, this has become a trend, but like she was like, this was way back when, so she was the first one, and she got a lot of hate in the community. And there were a few clips from videos that were talking, like commentary channels at the time, that were talking about the hate that she was getting for like the videos were just not, they were
Related.
not hate themselves, they were
Yeah.
just like saying, why is this chick getting hate on the internet for talking about anime just because she's in a bathtub type thing. That's what they were. But the point Shannon was trying to make in that was that because Emily had these haters in the anime community, that she could confuse, she like, they could have been the ones stalking her.
Okay.
But then she stopped making that content, so why would those people stalk her for another, like, I don't know how many years? Like, it's a lot more likely that someone who is like married to her ex will stalk her than those anime like fans that she's never posted on that, but like again. So it's like, that was the only point that was like semi valid. Like, yeah, okay, you might have a point. Maybe some people hated on her in that anime community, and you showed commentary videos saying that this happened. So okay, maybe that's true. But that hate couldn't have lasted that long. Like, nobody gets that obsessed like over. Once she stopped posting that, she probably lost those haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like all the other proof, so that could be one logical explanation, but then like what about the other evidence that like she's got all these screenshots and things from the past, and the boyfriend happens to be whatever, and then the girl happens to have talked about her on this like lolcat thing, and it's like there's too many like inconsistencies with Shannon's story versus, well, it could be anyone. It's like, yeah, it could be, of course it could be anybody in the world. I mean, technically.
No, Shannon's like, see, it couldn't have been me. It must have been the anime community.
Yeah,
like, really? Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you totally proved that.
That's not convincing for me. I'm sure she'll still have stands. Everyone's got stands. Like, the people will stand with her, I'm sure, because whatever. But I don't know. I think the majority of people can see that, yeah, this is the truth kind of lies with Emily, I think.
Yeah, same. I'm really glad that she's been able to tell this story, really, because like obviously this has been happening and it has been torturing her for a lot of time, and like I'm glad that she was able to just have a release and post it and get some sort of like, not revenge, because revenge is probably not what she was looking for, but like in a sense that, you know, Shannon is not on the internet anymore, and this actually
validation, like she
made validation.
I agree. It's hard to watch, like you said, to see someone succeed that's treated you horribly or badly, but then to kind of see the downfall. It's like, okay, you know, maybe just waiting it out was the right move. You know, she waited and then she defended herself, and now she's kind of free of it. So good for her.
Yeah, I truly hope so. I hope she's safe. I hope she's very well protected. Because you never know. You never know if someone is capable of doing this for like a decade.
Yeah. Brown Bread Video says, Shannon has so much evidence of who else it could potentially be because she's been watching for years.
Exactly.
She'll be able to like figure out who the real stalker is based on all this footage she's recorded of her walking around town.
But it couldn't possibly be her. Like, obviously. She's literally just protecting Emily throughout.
Yeah, of course. That's logical. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to meet back here next week and talk about another Cringe-Fluencer?
Yes. Do you have any ideas?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that Brittany Dawn person. I think maybe it's time to do a little deep dive into her, if you're not familiar. Do you know who it is? Yeah.
I am aware of some stuff. Yeah, we should probably do that. What do you guys think? Would you watch?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. And if you have other suggestions of people, cringe-fluencers you want to look into. I'm also, this is a side note, and I don't have anything concrete, but I have not dropped the Axel Weber research. I'm still doing it on the side. So I'm compiling my theories. I'm convinced.
Are you making a file?
Basically, I'm basically becoming a. No, I'm not. I'm basically becoming an online stalker. No, but there's something about his manager that is intriguing. That's all I'll say. His manager is like the most elusive manager I've ever researched, which I have not researched many managers, but he's like the guy who, he has two clients, Axel and this guy on Euphoria. And the guy on Euphoria also was a nobody person who they plucked off the street, allegedly. Isn't that really random? That he just like, he was in a coffee shop or something, and then this person now is on Euphoria within like, has no acting experience either. Very weird. There's something there,
Yeah.
I think.
I think since you told me about this, like there is no way Axel Weber looks like someone who's just been like homeless and living in a car, and then it's like, no, you can see it on his face. He's a posh boy.
Oh, he's slowly transitioning to his e-boy look. I've seen that. He wears like a black turtleneck, black pants, and like rings on his thumbs now. He's already like going past the persona now to going into his like e-boy hype house phase. So yeah, he's gonna
Very
have
like
fashion
Steve Jobs
sense.
inspired. Elizabeth Holmes also
Yeah.
was on that track. I don't know if they're going in the same direction, but Axel, if that's your direction, maybe just don't, because Elizabeth has just been proven guilty. So,
Well, they have some in common, I guess. They're both questionable figures in society. No, I think one's worse than the other, but I don't know. It's just it's fun. I'm not trying to be serious about it, but I feel like there's some sort of conspiracy going on. We got one vote for Brittany Dawn, so
yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, I just don't buy into. Yes, thank you, Pink Light. Totally. I think I don't know if it's like something. For me, it's just like no shadow of doubt anymore. Like, since you told me, I just can't unsee it. I'm like, I don't even know, but I'm like, yeah, clearly, obviously, like this was never like
it's a setup. We're being lied to at all. But I just think that the reason I think that it's kind of similar in a way, like the defense of it is like, no, he seems nice. It's like, okay, once I get a definitive response that's a defense that is like logical, I'll go with it. But every time I bring up a point, the counterpoint is like, stop being mean. I'm like, all I'm doing is bringing up something. Like, I'm not being mean, I'm just being critical.
Are you getting hate for it?
A little bit, not much. I mean, on TikTok, anyone that criticizes Axel gets like murdered in the comments. So I haven't gotten that much, but people will comment on the video that I posted sometimes and just say like, you don't have as many views as him, so how dare you criticize him? I'm like, what?
Yes,
What?
Obviously, because you don't have the views, obviously you're wrong.
I'm jealous.
Duh.
I mean, I can be jealous
Since
and
he has,
critical at the same time. I think two things can exist at once.
and he could have millions of views and still lie.
Exactly. I know. And
like,
it's like,
Shane
well, what's the
Dawson,
harm?
everyone. What the fuck?
I know. And people are like, well, why do you care? It's like, well, I care because I think it's important to understand how these things happen so we can be realistic about the world, as opposed to thinking like, oh, this guy just like, I'm going to go move in my car and then I'll be discovered and I'll become a famous YouTuber. It's like, no, there probably was a lot of work behind that we're not seeing.
Plus, not to mention just how predatory it is to take advantage of something, a situation that people struggle with. Homelessness is not a joke. People, that's not something like lighthearted and like
cutesy,
fun or whatever to use for your stupid little life story. Like, it's not. people die, people struggle, people can't have food, and it's not
Yeah.
it's a glamorous situation. It's not hilarious. It's not like, but it's only like a fucking posh person that could like possibly be like, oh my god, you know what would be really funny? Like, what if we just like pretended to be homeless?
Yeah.
Like, like how hilarious and relatable would that be? Like, duh.
People bought it though. That's the problem. It's not him necessarily. All he's doing is taking advantage of a situation, but it's the people that believe it. That's the problem. People need to say, no, we don't accept this. We don't like this. Stop doing this. It's like a societal issue, I think. Like, people are going to continue to try to rip people off forever. You know, whether they're lying or making money or selling you something, people are never going to stop doing that. But people need to stop buying it. That's the real critical factor. And that's kind of why I like doing the videos, because it's like, look at yourself. Did you buy this? Did you believe it? Why? Now, next time you come across someone, do the second double check before you give them money or whatever, you know? That's all I ask. My simple ask in life.
Yeah, exactly. People, unfortunately, we don't have enough support from like regulatory like agencies or whatever those are called, but you need agencies that are in place and that are meant to protect the advertising. This would definitely fall under false advertising
Yeah.
if it was taken seriously, or but like nobody's looking into these things in order to, well, we like you are, but like nobody in
People with
those
power. I have no power.
uh,
Yeah.
agencies, like, yeah, they're not, I don't think they're interested in Axel Weber or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, he would need to do something problematic or piss some rich people off, and then like pissing the homeless off, that's fine,
It's
but
good.
pissing the rich off, that's what Elizabeth Holmes did, and she got in trouble. But
Yeah.
basically, these agencies are in place to protect people from being scammed by regulating advertising. Like, you're not allowed to say things that are false, or you're not allowed to sell something by saying, you can sell like, I don't know, your bread or whatever, and say this is made with peanuts, and there's no peanuts in it. Like, those
Can't
things
lie.
exist, but the problem is they don't take influencers seriously. And
Yeah.
people
Yet.
like Rachel Hollis, and like they're able to slip through these like loopholes, and
Yeah.
it's until like something really big happens, I don't think they like these things will really be taken seriously. So the only thing we have is like social justice, and just being able to speak about it and being able to educate people to like look harder. But it's still hard. Like, I think it's still a lot more powerful when you have like the support of a system that
Yeah.
is well set in place and does its job.
Yeah.
It sounds awful, but like,
I
this is
agree.
it.
Yeah, because if not, you're just a hater, you know? You're not someone warning someone like, hey, if you keep doing this, you're going to get in trouble. If there's nothing getting you in trouble, all you're doing is stopping someone's growth, because they're fine with lying. They're fine with manipulating the system, and you're not. So you're the one with the problem. You know, no one else has a problem. What do you care? It's like, yeah, but I still don't think it's right. So I don't know. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
like, I get that question a lot. I was like, why do you care? It's like, I just do. I don't know. I can't help it. It's like, just, I don't know. Maybe if I had more things going on in my life, I wouldn't care as much, but I don't. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Oh, but I was gonna say, I don't know
Maria.
I don't know if you saw the video yet, but oh, I see. Yes. I did a video about Heidi's new conference in April, and this live stream that she did, where she basically, in so many words, promises that anyone who goes is gonna make meaningful friendships that they've never experienced before. She promises that. She like literally says that. She deleted the Instagram live because I think, someone told her like, take this off. But how can you promise someone that they're gonna make friendships? I promise you'll make deep lasting connections and friendships. Like, how do you promise that? How? It's not even something you can quantify.
So, but you need to pay a lot of money for these
it's-
friendships.
It's
They're
Well,
not for free. They're
not for
deep and
free.
meaningful, but they cost money.
Deep pockets. Yeah. Well, the VIP ticket, which is the only one that gets you really anything, was $3,600, $3,697. So basically $3,700 for the VIP, and then the other one was
Jesus.
the general ticket was $1,197. So like basically $1,200. Yeah. So
Oh my God.
there's a lot of promises in that.
I don't know
one.
if they have as many takers for these. That's the only thing that like gives me some sort of like
Relief.
just relief, yeah, because like I feel like they don't get, like, obviously we've seen it with Dave's congruent men conference being canceled. I don't think they have a lot of fans. And I think they think they do, but I don't think they actually do, you know.
Yeah, I think they think Instagram followers translates into paying customers, and maybe that was true 10 years ago because it was a different environment. There wasn't as many influencers as there is now. Now it's like there's so much competition. You better be really on your game, and these people aren't. They're just hoping that they get lucky, and people are stupid. It's like people aren't as stupid anymore.
They're done. Like this is their this is just
hurrah.
like a pathetic attempt to like kind of try to stay relevant, but their time in the limelight as it's over.
I agree. I think Rachel's gonna give one more hurrah, one more big try, and I don't think it's gonna work. And I think she's gonna stop. And then I think Dave is out the door, and then Heidi, I don't know. She's one day. Thank you. One day she'll figure it out. Maybe, hopefully.
With Rachel, it's interesting because I think Rachel is the only one that is kind of smart
Sorry, I agree. I'm opening a LaCroix.
amongst them. So I think nice. We don't get that here in Europe.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
so
know what
good.
that tastes like. It's so sad.
Sorry. Go on.
But yeah, I think Rachel would. I don't know what else she could possibly do, because the thing is, like, if she's not an influencer, then what is she? Because she doesn't have. I can't imagine Rachel taking like an office job and just like being like the marketing
Manager.
the exec or something for, I don't know, what Adidas, or like, what would she do? Like she's not qualified for anything.
I don't know. I mean, she said in one of the, because I listened to an older podcast back in like 2020, and she said that she has enough money that she'll never have to work again. Now, I don't know if that's true in 2022. Maybe that some of that money has dried up, or maybe she just becomes she's dating a rich man, so she's probably going to be fine. I just don't think she's going to work. I think she's probably going to blog.
She's gonna be a stay-at-home
Yeah, probably.
mom.
She'll be like a
Without the kids.
supporter. Yeah, she'll be like a girlfriend to an on-the-road tour manager, which sounds like a pretty good gig, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean,
Could be worse.
I just the thing with that is I think she's like she can't stand not being the center of attention. So I think she needs to like put herself in a situation in which she's the one getting the attention. And if he's the one, she's not gonna fly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe she'll try to make her kids famous or something. She can be like the stage mom for her sons or something. Or Noah. She'll try to make Noah famous. I don't know.
I mean, they're already trying. Oh, did you see that Dave's book, Tea Time with Noah, was pushed even further?
November. The
It's
time
not-
of the
it's
year
never
where
coming out.
everyone, yeah.
You guys, I've said it first.
Yeah. He's going to this conference apparently, but yeah, his book got pushed back. He's been off the internet, but yeah, he's going to the show up conference.
He's going to Heidi's conference?
Yeah.
Well, that would be one. He's
She's
paying
like-
full price.
She said, "You better believe he'll be there." It's like, okay. Yeah, it was interesting.
I mean, at least it'll be two of them. They can make a romantic trip because I don't think anyone else will show up.
Well, she said that she's like, people kept asking like, who are the speakers? Who are the speakers? Who are the speakers? And she kept saying like, we have speakers, but it's a surprise. I can't tell you it's a surprise. And then she's like, but, you know, if you don't like me and Dave, then I wouldn't come. If you don't just like us. So I was like, wait, are there no speakers then? Or what? It's very weird.
Do you know what would be interesting? If Rachel was
She's looking
I
for
would
work.
want to see a debate between Rachel and Heidi about how good Dave is as a husband or boyfriend.
Yeah.
I would pay for that.
Yeah.
Heidi,
That's a
if you're
conference
watching.
I'd go to. Yeah, live stream that. I don't know. I think they would both say the same thing in different words and say that they're saying the opposite thing. Like, well, my opinion is you believe in yourself and you can do it. Well, my opinion is you manifest yourself and then you can achieve anything. It's like, okay, that's literally the same thing. But they're like, but no, my advice is better and it's more special than yours.
No, obviously, but it's the exact same thing that they say. Like, this is literally the entire self-help industry. All they say is like, get a morning routine, get an evening routine. It's like between all the fucking routines they say you should have, you have no time to work. It's like, just
and meanwhile,
chill with the
you're watching them on Instagram stories,
Yeah.
and they're like doing none of the things that they say to do.
Some of them run. Tony Robbins throws himself into like an ice pool.
Sure.
But like that's not what made them successful. Conning people, on the other hand, might be a better recipe.
Yeah. Telling people that's the key to success by jumping in the plunge pool is what is making him successful, not the act of doing it. Convincing others that that's the truth to life or whatever.
Yeah. Because he's such a superhuman. I don't know.
I don't know. I just started following Tony Robbins' son on Instagram to kind of like get a feel for him, because I feel like because he's also a life coach. But I haven't seen it, but I've heard that this guy, the son of Tony Robbins, he's like in his 30s or maybe 40s. He says that he has a sob story about his childhood. I'm like,
Oh my
how?
God. How the
How?
fuck could you possibly have a sub story? Okay, but if he does, I want to see it. I want to read it. Let
Yeah,
me
I know.
like put it in a book. Let's dissect the fuck out of that.
I know.
So what's the sob story? My dad was too rich and powerful, and I never had any time with him.
I never had a
As
chance.
a child,
Yeah.
I grew up fatherless. And then Tony Robbins would come out and be like, here's how to be the best father that, that you could
I'm the best,
possibly be,
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
best husband to your wife. It's like, okay, Tony, so do we take your sons for, like, I don't know, I'm assuming what else could you have like as a sob story when you're like a literal like millionaire?
I don't know. Good question. That's what I'm going to find out, because I've heard rumblings about it. I haven't read it myself, so I don't know. But I've heard people say like, oh yeah, the guy that Tony Robbins' son who says he's got a sob story. I'm like, oh, interesting.
So what, like the teacher in first grade humiliated him in front of
Maybe
the
he
classroom?
couldn't run. Maybe he wasn't allowed to run.
Oh my
'cause he's
God,
too tall.
he was like Dave.
He's too short to run.
Yeah, I mean, phew.
That was Dave's hang up. That was his claim to fame, that he couldn't run, and then he ran one day, and then he figured out that it was all a lie.
I mean, they recycle content in the self-help industry. It doesn't, like, as you can see, Rachel doesn't care that a poet such as Maya Angelou said, "Still I rise." She just re-plagiarize her. Doesn't matter. It's like hers. Like, you know, once you learn something, it's like yours.
It's yours.
Like it does.
Yeah.
Like nothing matters anymore. Like
No.
you just you can just sell it to other people and say it's yours. It's fine.
She has.
Yeah,
Basically.
quite literally.
But actually,
But actually, I'm gonna start using that. I used it once and it was hilarious. Somebody in the comments was like, "Oh, I saw that," and I was like, "Thank you."
we need to we're on this program, we're able to put sound effects, our own like sound effects into the system. So we should make a "but actually" sound, because that would be so funny.
Oh my God, yes.
And if anytime either one of us says "but actually,"
You know, I actually ended up saying that because and then I was like, "What the fuck have I heard this?" And I was like, "Oh shit, this is from Rachel
I've like
Hollis's
memorized
TikTok."
that whole rant that she went on. It's like, okay, so it starts up. Okay, so I was on a live stream and someone said, "You are unrelatable,"
Unrelatable.
and I was like, What did you say? I was like, okay, but actually,
I was like, no, wait, because she's way more patronizing than that. No, no. She's
okay,
like,
sis.
sis, who the fuck told you I want to be relatable?
That's what she wanted to say. I'll bring it up. I any opportunity to watch this rant just to remind people of like how crazy she was that day when she posted that. Hold on, Rachel Hollis. I remember like in my video that I did about it, which was like an early video that I did on my channel. I felt like she wanted that. If I'm relatable, I'm doing something wrong. I feel like she wanted that to be like a phrase so bad that she was gonna put on her next planners. Like, if I'm a woman who's relatable, I'm doing it wrong. Like, I felt like deep in my heart that she felt like that was a real quote that was gonna be something.
Oh, but it was something.
It was something. Career ending.
She got that right.
Jeez. Okay. Let me find the scenes, and I'm gonna go here. Okay, here we go. Here's our big sister, Ray.
Okay, yesterday I was doing a live stream and I mentioned that there's a sweet woman who comes to my house twice a week and cleans. She's my house cleaner. She cleans the toilets. Someone commented and said, "You are privileged AF." And I was like, "You're right. I'm super freaking privileged, but also I worked my ass off to have the money to have someone come twice a week and clean my toilets." And I told her that. And then she said, "Well, you're unrelatable."
You're unrelatable.
What is it about me that made you think I want to be relatable? No, sis.
No, sis.
Literally everything I do in my life is to live a life that most people can't relate to. Most people won't work this hard. Most people won't get up at 4 a.m. Most people won't fail publicly again and again just to reach the top of the mountain. Literally every woman I admire in history was unrelatable. If my life is relatable to most people, I'm doing it wrong.
She thought that line was like, "Oh, I am doing something here. I have like found."
She certainly did. She certainly did something there. Just not quite what she planned. The opposite. But also, the New York Times made a fucking entire article that was as long as a book about her. So
she said it. She meant it. But also, her career's over.
yeah. See,
God,
they're
I
not
love that
exclusive.
I love that line. Yeah, two things can exist at once. I've learned that
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah,
Rachel is like not the same though. I don't know if you noticed this. So let me know if you want to go, because like
I'm having my beverage. I'm okay now.
I've had a week of up and downs, and suddenly I'm up. So I'm like,
Oh, there you go.
and
gotta
it's
stay
even
up.
it's like 3 minutes past midnight over here. That should tell you just how like hyper I am. But Rachel really just like, it's just sad to watch her now.
Yeah, I know.
It makes me sad. It's just,
I know. I feel you.
she's so like meek and so like,
I feel like it's all an act too.
do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's real. I don't think she's like feels bad. Like, let's take a look at her.
I don't think she feels bad for what she did. I think
No.
she feels bad that she got caught.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she has
You know,
regret though, because she's got opportunities for retribution, and she doesn't do it. She has opportunities to say like, "I screwed up. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry." She hasn't done that once. I've seen. I don't know.
But she knows she can't quite, like, because if she was like, yeah, whatever, like she would just come back full force, like, no, like, blah. But
Yeah.
she knows that she needs to at least appear, but because but I do think that she is. I think that she does feel
Bad.
no, not bad. No, not bad. Never. No, she feels like she failed because she was on fucking, she was so high up in the self-help industry. Everyone was seeing her well. Her books were selling out.
Mm-hmm.
And then she fucked up so bad. Like, so I think that's what it is. Like she hates that she failed so hard, you know, when she was doing so well. Like she just literally like slipped through her hand.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she's so meek, and so I don't think she feels bad for other people that she hurt.
No.
She feels bad for her because she's no longer like successful like she was.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that must be difficult. As much as I dislike her, I think she's a smart person. She's done a lot with a little, I guess, or she's done a lot in her life. Even if nothing ever happens past this point, she's still accomplished a lot. But yeah, it's gotta be hard, especially when you're an achiever like that, or how she thinks she is, and then to see your whole career just crumble in front of your eyes. Like, as much as you try to act like, oh, it's the universe's messages, blah blah blah, it's like, no, you probably have a hard time sleeping, to be honest, at night. She probably does not sleep well.
I think I totally agree with you that she did accomplish something. Like the first book she released, well, not because she had written before, but Girl Wash Your Face was an actual success. I actually remember buying that. I bought it as an audiobook when it first came out. At the time, I was not critical of her. I was not even doing this on YouTube. I was like, I didn't even have a YouTube channel, I don't think. And I was really sad because I couldn't find the audiobook anymore, because I wanted to go back to it to be critical of it. And I never found it, because I think it was like one of those, how do you get like 3 free credits or something, and I think it was one of those, and I just like don't have it anymore. So, but the thing is, like, she does not give enough credit to Dave, and I'm not saying that Dave is like an amazing guy or whatever, but she was something like 14 when she left home, or 16, 16, or she left home or something like that. She went to LA, and at 18 or 19 she met Dave, and then Dave had like so much money. So yeah, I mean, she did accomplish something. I'm not gonna take that away from her, but would have she accomplished that if she was like alone and she wasn't like someone who, she didn't have someone to like sustain her financially for like a decade?
No, and she says as much as that, but then she doesn't attribute it to Dave, which is the problematic part. Like in her latest podcast about money, which I did a live stream about the other day on my channel, she says like, well, I worked 20 years to get to where this business was actually successful in the last 6. So I hope that my efforts would have paid off. It's like, to have 20 years of runway to run a business that wasn't succeeding is a privilege in itself. And the only reason you had the chance to do that is because of Dave. But she doesn't say that second part. She only says like, well, it took me 20 years and it was my hard work and dedication to it, that blah, blah, blah. It's like, you just didn't give up, but you didn't have to survive. That's 2 different things. And she's like, me and Dave weren't that rich before. Like, we could go to Cabo and Target, but, it's like, okay, that's rich. Like, that's, compared to 99% of everyone else, like, that is the higher class of living. So she doesn't even have like a realistic, I don't know,
no,
viewpoint.
because why would she? Because she's never been in that situation. Well, not never, but not for a long time. But yeah, it's pretty we'll see what she does now. Let's, if you are someone who just managed to do something so amazing on your own merit, and you're not gonna give credit to the fact that you were supported financially by your husband for more than a decade, actually, maybe like a decade and a half, to be honest. So then you should have no problem coming back with something else. Like, you just come up with something else, like rise from the ashes once again. But this spirituality bullshit is not it.
She's too late. She thinks she's new, and she's like 10 years too late. Like, this was popular in 2010.
This is not new at all.
Like, first of all, it's ancient wisdom, which, okay, so, it's definitely not new. And then also, like, the grifters have already picked the meat and threw it back out, and now we're going to go on to the next thing that's, more exciting, and she's going to be behind again. She was perfectly on time with, like, millennial, girl boss, MLM, make your own money, like that hustle culture. She was perfectly on time, and now can like lightning strike twice? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a perfect storm in a situation, and it really worked for her. That's called luck. Like it was lucky. She literally just got lucky by getting a viral post, and she did more than just that. But once she got lucky, she did actually manage to capitalize off of it and write books and whatever. Yes, yes, she did that. But what she did before the luck is like
Yeah.
hardly
Had
significant.
help. And she'll say, well, because my family
So
wasn't
maybe she's just
rich.
waiting.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I got cut off. Or you got cut off. You go.
Maybe she's just waiting to like get another lucky moment.
I think she is lucky right now. She's dating Shawn Mendes's tour manager, and he's got cash, so I think she is kind of lucky. So she gets to try all this shit out now. And but do you know who Teal Swan is?
No.
It's like I'll find her on Instagram. She's like a anti-vaxxer a little bit.
Oh God.
She's like a new age person. And she'll talk about, self-love and whatever, but she's a little bit like not risque.
Oh, I've come across her TikToks. Yeah.
Okay, so Rachel, this is like how Rachel's connected to this person now. Rachel has an energy healer named Kimberly who works in Austin, and she's had her at the Rise conference, and she's had Kim on her podcast now. Kim was trained apparently by Teal Swan. So that's the kind of woo-woo stuff that lady is involved in. And she's also, I think, breaking the law, this Kimberly person. I'll show you her. Let me find her. Hold on. But the person that Rachel is interviewing and platforming, essentially, is charging like $200 an hour for spiritual trauma healing, which is, you can't say you're healing someone's trauma unless you're a mental health professional, which this woman is not. So I looked at her page the other day. I'll find it. She does this thing called like fascia. Do you know what that is? Fascia muscles stretching. No. It's called it's like a thing that's debated heavily whether it even exists or not. It's like a muscle. And a lot of the new age people like glommed onto it because there's really no science behind it. So they charge you like $1 million to do these sessions. And she's one of them apparently. But this is someone who Rachel Hollis is apparently like in love with because she's talked about her, had her on like 1 million times. Okay. This is the energy healer person's website. If you go to our services, spiritual guidance. What the fuck does that mean? Are you a priest? Like, what are you? Okay. Spiritual-based trauma healing. You cannot say that. That's not okay. That's against the law. I'm almost positive that you can't say that unless you're a mental health counselor. Spiritual-based trauma healing. Guiding the mind, body, and soul back to harmony through the Viola method, completion process, and the universe. Okay? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God.
And look at the price. Oh, before and afters. I had one eye and now I have 2 eyes. I don't know. What am I looking at? I could stretch a little and now I could stretch a little less.
So on the left, they were traumatized, and on the right, they were no longer traumatized.
Right. Left.
But I'll tell you, it is for sure illegal because
Yeah.
one of the things that Marissa Peer is like being looked into by the oh gosh, if only I remember that. It's like it's like the FTC in the UK.
Okay.
So it's something like the Advertising Association or something like that. They're looking into her because she made claims on her website that she could heal depression and anxiety within a session or 2, and that's illegal.
Well, this is what this lady is saying, kind of too.
Yeah.
Not as blatantly, but also teetering on that line, which I think is dangerous to say that.
Yeah, it is. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's very likely this is an exaggeration.
At the least. I mean,
the thing they might be able to get, like, as a what's it called, like, as a defense type thing, is the placebo effect. But like I
Even
think
that.
the laws on these things are kind of like serious,
Yeah.
because it's about like people's health. So but still, they're not serious enough, if you ask me. So
Well, this is someone that, I don't know if she's not looking into this or like Rachel just doesn't care, but why are you're gonna jump ship from what you built before, even though it like crumbled? You're not gonna try to rebuild that. You're gonna jump into like cult stuff. Like, why? I don't know. Unless she's just really got off the deep end herself and she believes this stuff. But
she's just out of ideas.
I guess. And of course, you can do this virtually. You can heal your trauma spiritually,
course.
virtually as well.
How
course.
convenient for a
Yeah.
pandemic.
It's wonderful. Yeah, and there was I want to find now that you brought up that specific line that you were saying, I want to find the one that I found yesterday. Oh, damn. Okay, here it is, because it says like, it's like 10 years of, see, there's Rachel Hollis, 10 years of therapy in one session or something, which I thought was crossing the line of
Wow. Yeah,
lying.
that's very much false advertising, probably.
Yeah, let me find it. It's somewhere. And all, of course, too, it's like, who can benefit from this? Any age, any ability, anywhere in
Of
the
course.
world. You know?
Anyone.
Like, wow.
You could not possibly be more vague. Like,
Yeah. And it says, does SBTH, whatever that is, work for emotional trauma? Yes, it is a beautiful system to guide you to heal from past traumas.
does this work for free? No.
No, it's $300 for an hour, I believe, or 90 minutes.
Yeah. That's so expensive too. Like, how the fuck are they? Like, I just don't understand how they. This is so annoying. Like, therapists are cheaper than that.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're saying, like, well, you have to go to therapy for years, which is part of the point. But this is like one time, two times, like, then you're done. So it's cheaper.
But that's just like taking $300 and throw it into the bin.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I am trying to find this. Okay, this is it. Why is SBTH? So I guess that's spiritual. I don't know if that's spiritual guidance or like whatever their thing is. SBTH. We subscribe. That's spiritual based trauma healing is 10 years of therapy in one session. Our goal is to not see you weekly with spiritual guidance. Once every 30, 60, or 90 days is great for your next session. I don't think you can put that on your website if you're not a
This is like
therapist.
literally taking advantage of traumatized people. Like, I can't even believe that. Like, that's so predatory.
This is what my life coach, when I had one before I, woke up and became normal again. She was saying that to me too. She's like, because she was a former therapist who quit and then became a life coach, and that's why I liked her, because she was a therapist. So I was like, well, she went through training, I can trust her. But then she started talking about all this craziness, and she's like, no, like, therapy's not good for you. It's too long. It takes too long. You need to do yoga because you can heal yourself in one session. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no, I don't believe that at all. And like, I think she just she got convinced by someone to believe that. And so then it's just like, you convince other people because you've been convinced. It's like this thing. I don't know.
No, because it's like a pyramid. They need to convince other people so they can get paid.
Oh yeah, exactly. But I think sometimes maybe like you buy into it and then you slowly over time get involved in the money side. I think in the beginning, a lot of people, like in an MLM, for example, like you go into it thinking that you're actually you care about it and it's good, but then over time you learn things, and if you don't get out, then you're dishonest. I think some people do get in and like believe like, oh, Monat is good for me and good for my hair, but then don't get out, I guess, when they figure out like it's not. But maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be victims that are perpetuating it, because that makes sense.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot. I think it's just that sometimes a lot of the people in it also kind of or don't subscribe to the sunk cost fallacy, and they're just like, I've invested too much time, I've ruined too many friendships, my husband doesn't know how much money we have
Yeah,
like to pay back or what, like, you know what I mean? Because lots of people get into debt with these things, and I
totally.
think at that point they're like, well, I gotta hold on another year, I gotta hold, and then it never.
Well, that came up in the podcast too, because Rachel's like, everyone always wants to manifest money, and they ask like, well, when is this money coming? Like, I've been waiting for the money. And it's like, if you think about when it's coming, then you're ruining yourself. So you have to literally believe that you're a millionaire and not question when you're going to be a millionaire. But that's like so convenient for the person giving you the advice, because if it never happens, it's like, well, you must have been thinking about when it was going to happen. It's like, this is stupid.
Yeah, this manifesting thing has a lot of rules to it, apparently. But wasn't she like now buying at Goodwill and stuff? What does she need money for?
I don't know.
If she's like super like into spirituality and like, glamorizing Goodwill and.
Well, she's got to go to spiritual based trauma healing for $200 an hour, apparently. So that ain't cheap.
They don't give her like a discount.
Hell no. She pays double. She got double the trauma. Yeah.
Oh, I got offered by one of my patrons is a hypnotherapist, and I got offered a session for free, and I want to take it, but I don't know how it is. The only reason why I've not taken it yet is because like she's in the States and I'm like in a completely different country, and I would love to experience this like
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, you might as well go all in, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of scary. I'm just like a bit like.
I don't know about hypnotherapy. I don't know enough to make a judgment on it. People are talking in the comments about Teal Swan and how she's like a legitimate cult leader, which I kind of had heard, but I don't know enough about her to like make a statement publicly about my feelings. So I won't say anything until I like read it and actually comprehend what she's done. But I've heard that too, so I'm glad that other people have seen that as well.
Yeah. I'm not well acquainted with her, but I have just kind of a little bit of an idea. But it would be interesting to look into her. Maybe she could be in one of our future podcasts.
Definitely. Definitely. I have a lot of interest in the self-help spiritual influencers, because they are very problematic a lot of times. And as someone who loves yoga and did meditation for, a good amount of years and tried to live that type of lifestyle, like I found it appealing for a while, and now I find it disgusting. Not yoga and meditation, but like the influencer space around it. So I feel like I have some background that I could offer up to as a former
of course.
fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to more and more to bring these. I actually came across a freaking Dean Graziosi ad today. I was like, oh, not this guy again. Oh my God, I cannot stand
I
him.
hate that guy.
He's disgusting. I don't know why, but he's just,
Did you see the interview
drives me crazy.
with Jenna Kutcher?
Oh my God, yes. That was like, is this recent? Because I've seen one like a long time ago.
Old.
Like this
it's an old
yeah,
one.
okay. Yeah, I've seen that one. And just, my God, like both of them are off. And you know what? That's another thing. Like I used to like Jenna Kutcher, and now I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? With both like Rachel and Jenna Kutcher.
I was the same way though. I used to listen to Gold Digger podcast that she does, and I thought it was interesting. But also, like looking back, I didn't really act on anything that I learned. It was like part of my drive to work. I'm like, okay, I want to be productive because I need to, do something with my life. So I'd listen to all this crap, and then it's like doesn't actually matter. I just felt like, okay, I'm helping myself for the future.
Yeah, I think this is the misconception with most of the self-help content, because like the people watching, they're thinking what they're getting is motivation, what they're getting is like a blueprint, what they're getting is like an actual sort of product, although not necessarily a physical one, but just this motivation, whatever, it's sort of a product. What they're actually getting is just content. That's just what they're getting is tricked essentially into watching more and more of that person's content.
Yeah.
And the more content of that person's one watches, the more likely that person is like to buy a webinar, to buy the next thing. That's what they want. They want to get you with free YouTube videos, and then get you into a free. Have you noticed every time it's a free webinar? Every time.
yeah.
It's every single time. Every single one of these like ad people that come up offers a free webinar that is free right now. And sometimes they even have like a little like clock going like for the next 12 hours, but that's it. Like
Yeah.
after, and then it's
it
never
restarts
that's it. Like
again.
it's always, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know if you noticed also, pretend to be live in these ads. It's like
They're not really live. They
they're
pretend to be
never
live.
they're not live. They're pretending to be live, and that's what they want. They want to get you in with a free webinar, and what they're going to do in that free webinar is convince you that they're super successful and that you should buy into their method. And eventually at the end they're going to be like, you have this amazing offer, like normally it's like £5,000, but this time just for you it's not even half, it's like 10%. And then they get you to buy the first thing, and once you bought the first thing you're hooked, like you're gonna buy the next thing and the next thing. And there were so many people have, or not so many people, but like there's some people, I don't know if you guys watch like Coffeezilla. He's interviewed some people who were on
I love
Dan
Coffeezilla.
Locke's stuff, and yeah, I love him too. And it's like just scary to see these people got into like debt for like $20,000 because of these bullshit
Easily.
courses. And all this through like free YouTube videos and free webinars.
Yeah, that's why.
That's how they.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any, like, when, Rachel or Dave or Heidi says, well, all I do is give free content out. I'm not hurting anybody. I don't have a course to sell you. It's like, yes, but that's part of your marketing scheme, is to give out free content to get people in your funnel. That's how it works. It's not like you're doing this to be nice. You're doing this you're not buying an ad space. You're just making free content. To me, that's not, I don't know, like charitable in any way. That's not like, wow, amazing, you're telling me how to manifest, thank you so much. It's like, it's part of a marketing plan. Like, I don't know.
And then that's why every single thing they sell is so expensive.
Yeah.
Like Rachel's rice conferences were like $2,000. Dave's congruent thing, I don't know how many grand.
That was cheaper.
Heidi's thing.
Yeah, Dave's was cheaper for some reason. Probably because men aren't gonna pay for a conference that's thousands of dollars, because I don't know, they have more
Just
sense.
throw an axe.
I don't
It's
know,
not
to
that
throw an axe, like, guys. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Heidi's is $4,000 essentially without lodging.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, conferences are the biggest racket. That's where they make their real money, is at these conferences.
Yeah.
So it seems.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely. Like that's their actual product. They don't care about the free YouTube videos. They don't care about anything except for those. That's everything is just meant to sell you that conference. And once it doesn't, like, or that book, like in Dave's case, once it doesn't sell, like that's why he's so angry, because he doesn't care about the Monday to Friday like Instagram live. He's not interested in that. So he feels like he's put in a lot of effort for you to buy the book, and then you didn't buy the book, you fucking asshole.
How dare you? Yeah.
How dare you? I've been on Instagram live for free.
I bled into this, as he said.
I bled. Oh my god.
Bled into this. I noticed that.
Can I see a drop of blood, please? Because I don't
know. Where did you bleed it? You wrote like about your own life. You didn't have to do any research whatsoever. You literally talked about things that have happened to you. It's like, that's the easiest. That's like writing in a journal.
For Dave, that's very hard. Because he had to literally write it.
He had to bleed into it.
He had to literally take a pen and write stuff that was already in other people's books and already happened in his life. So it's just,
that's hard.
That's so hard. Like,
I feel for him.
Wow.
Poor Dave. Poor Davey.
Yeah. Should we call it?
Yeah, I suppose.
It's like midnight. So I should probably get my evening routine.
I gotta start my matcha nighttime chamomile shake. So, and reading
Yeah.
my hour-long
I need to
mofo.
manifest my tomorrow's money or something.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
As you can see, guys, like Kayla's already on the manifesting money thing with that
Yeah.
background.
This is this is what I'm just focusing on the money. This is actually just a green screen. It's become money over time because I've focused on it so much. So it's actually green screen itself.
So did Rachel even say anything? Oops, I keep saying we forgot, but
Absolutely
like,
not.
did she say anything interesting about manifesting, or was this all just the same crap that you hear every time?
She was like, if your whatever is in your bank account reflects what's in your mind. So if your bank account's low, that's because you're not thinking clearly and correctly.
How is her bank account right now? I would be curious.
I have no idea.
Because I'm sure her boyfriend is fine, but what about hers?
I don't know. They gotta have. They're not that stupid, right? They couldn't have put all their money into the business, right? They gotta have some savings account.
It's, I mean, I'm sure she does, but like, I don't think she's making anything at the moment.
I don't know.
Because I don't know. Did she
Rach
get like a
talks back.
sponsorship from? Maybe she got a sponsorship recently. I feel like Audible or something.
She's got the Sleep Number bed, and she's got Allstate insurance on the podcast, and what else? Oh, the online thrift store, Thrift Up
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh
So-
yeah. I wonder if Rachel thinks that she's gonna have like a moment when she's like somebody just realizes just how important her story is, and they're gonna make a documentary and put it on Netflix, and she's gonna come back. Do you think that's because I feel like that's the
Probably.
only thing that's keeping her going? That's just my
Probably.
opinion.
I guess you gotta imagine. You gotta think like, okay, what's her mindset, and then what would you do in this situation with that mindset? And I guess it would just be to keep trying. Which I give her some credit for keeping on trying to make it work. That's not easy, but
also she has nothing else to do, so
yeah. I don't know. I will say
And sh-
I'm glad that she's gone from the internet most of the time. I'm glad Dave is now gone from the internet, not posting incessantly. I do give her credit for that too, that like she took a break and is still kind of like away. But also I think if she came back, she would get so much hate stuff, so that she's just keeping it quiet because she doesn't want to deal with the backlash. So I don't think it's because she
the thing
feels
that
bad.
she's getting is like ignored right now.
Yeah.
Except for us.
I know.
But like nobody, I noticed like nobody, unless they're deleting all, but I just don't think people are commenting. They're not interested. She's not relevant anymore. It's just a bit, and I think actually that's worse to her than getting hate.
Probably.
I think she hates being ignored more than
I think
I
everyone
think
does.
getting the haters, us, the what did Dave call us? The what did
Trolls?
he call it? Like no, he said like a word that is a Beetlejuice. We're like
yeah.
the Beetlejuice.
Do you think Dave's watched your work? I know he's watched Mac's video at least. Do you think he's seen your videos?
He says the YouTubers.
I wonder who
So
he means.
he means us. That's
Yeah,
who he
I
means.
would think. But then again, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think, like, I don't know. I guess I find it to be interesting if he were to see our videos. Because they're still small. They're not like millions of views.
But he's not relevant for millions of views. Like nobody cares about him that much.
Whenever I search the keyword for Dave Hollis, it always comes up Dave Hollister, and I have to like go in and like change it because like apparently YouTube doesn't know who he is. So
I think he must have, but like I can't see Dave just sitting down there and watching my entire video or something. I think he would probably have clicked on, he must have seen them pop up because they get recommended by YouTube. So
yeah.
since he is Dave Hollis, it's probably like the first one to pop up on his homepage.
Yeah.
So there's that. or people have sent them to him or something, and I'm sure that he clicked like real quick and like maybe watched like a minute or something, and then I don't think he's like stayed and watched, you know, I don't think he's
analyzed.
interested in
Yeah.
in improving in any way. So
I agree. I think I always wonder like I would like to eventually grow into the kind of channel, you know, either here or on my own or both, where we interview people who are in this space and just are not mean and hatery, but like critical, and ask them some questions like, so when you say this, what about this? Like a follow-up that actually, so you say manifesting is all about whatever. Can you explain in a situation like this, what do you suggest? Like, because everyone these people go to and talk to and do all these interviews with, they just kiss their ass the whole time. You don't get any new information. So it's
Kayla,
like, I know.
sorry to break your heart. It's never gonna happen.
But CoffeeZilla gets to interview them sometimes. He's broken through somehow.
So I'm not saying that's because like we like or you wouldn't get big enough. I just don't think they would ever come.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they are not interested in being challenged. They're interested in like brainwashing people. They don't want to be challenged.
I know.
So you're gonna, maybe it will be other people. So these people for sure. Dave is never gonna come on a podcast with us. Like I would gladly have him.
Yeah,
I would
be mean to
gladly
him.
challenge the fuck out of him.
I know he's a human being. Like, we treat him normal. I just think everyone deserves a little critique, especially if you're telling people you're going to change their lives, save their lives.
Especially them.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
come on.
I would like pushback. If you know, I totally would have those conversations. The problem is like I just know these people will never come. But you know, maybe other people like Mel Robbins, you might be able to convince someone like Mel Robbins, because she's just a tiny. Oh really?
Yeah. I've been researching her for a little while now, because I've seen her, people tagged or want to see a video about her. So she's not the worst. Oh my god! But she's not.
Is she problematic? I thought she's not.
Oh, I think so. Why do you think she's not? I'm interested.
Well, I mean, obviously, aside from the self-help message, which I obviously don't abide by, I just thought she's like kind of one of the mild ones. Like, just
I agree. I think she's mild. I don't think she's hurtful.
Yeah.
But I do think that she is definitely someone who knows better and takes advantage of people in MLMs that are desperate to make it work. And she speaks on any MLM stage. She's been on Monate. She's been on what's the other one? Rodan Fields, Young Living. Like, I have a whole list of recent, like up until like 2021.
Sounds like Rachel's list, quite literally.
Mm-hmm. And she makes $100,000
but that's
to do it.
That's who gets them. Like, they wouldn't have nowhere else. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about self-help gurus to invite them somewhere else aside from MLMs.
I know.
So
but I still think it's wrong.
Oh no, absolutely. That's not. I'm not trying to defend her by that, but I'm saying like the reason why they're doing this is because it's the only people inviting them.
Yeah.
Like only companies, because like I don't think Google would be like, yeah, let's hear from Mel Robbins. Like, they don't fucking care.
Yeah. I mean, I think she gets like mid-level companies maybe like that, you know, find her interesting or whatever. But yeah, I think the big companies are not like interested at all. But like she'll say, she did this one interview with like the guy who he has a business that motivates network marketers. It's like a whole separate business. It's like this other thing. I know Mac did a story about him.
It's just so meta.
The levels of ridiculousness. But she spoke to him and she was like, you know, doing this whole thing about, you know, if you're at the playground and you just really want to tell that person across the slide about your business and how, you know, your upline works and like, you know, you have it in you to make this business work, you need to count down from 5 and like, you know, her whole 5-second rule or whatever she's got.
That
she's using
is so cringe.
Yeah, she's using it as if like, oh, this is applicable to trying to recruit a stranger at a park into your, you know, scheme. It's like she's not stupid. She's a lawyer. She's been on CNN like as a commentator. She's knowingly choosing to change her message to target manipulatable people. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't like it.
Anyone who's successful in the self-help industry is doing that.
Yeah.
They can literally they can't get successful unless they are taking advantage and they're predating on people.
True.
They literally cannot become successful in self-help unless they target people who don't have the money, who don't have the education, some people might even target people who are ill.
Oh, totally. And they always try to make their story seem like the saddest, sobbest story. Like Mel will say, I was an alcoholic and I was near bankruptcy. And then I counted back from 5 and now I've saved my life. That's her whole grift. And it's like,
she also said that her husband had like a chain of restaurants.
Yeah, her husband owns multiple restaurants. She was already like Harvard or Yale educated. And it was the 2008 recession where everyone was fucked. So it's not that exciting of a story. She makes it seem, and also she drinks alcohol every single day. She says that like today. So
she went to Harvard?
Yeah, or Yale or somewhere. She went to somewhere to be a lawyer. So she's not stupid. She has no excuse. Like Rachel didn't go to college.
No way she went to Harvard. I can't imagine.
Mel
Let's see.
Robbins. You know, she had a show. She had like an Oprah style show for a year, and then it didn't work, or one season.
Oh God.
It wasn't good.
Psychology, coaching, confidence, career. What the fuck is that?
Oh, she went to Dartmouth and Boston College.
Oh my God. I'm impressed. I did not realize that she had gone to an Ivy League. This is insane.
Well, that's why I'm mad.
Oh
because,
my
like,
God.
She's not, you know, she's knowingly almost like more evil than someone who doesn't know, in a way. Because it's like she knows that pyramid schemes are a thing and that MLMs are most likely bad. So her doing this, it's like
she's aware. She's aware.
Yeah.
Oh, you just blew my mind. I did not realize she went to an Ivy League school. This is crazy.
Do you like her less or more now?
This is fucking less, obviously. But I just can't believe it. I didn't realize, because, okay, it's not that it's impossible to go to an Ivy League school and still be blindsided by some things. But
she's not blindsided by shit.
No, she's not blindsided. It require you are required a specific set of critical thinking in order to even get into an Ivy League.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And she also is one to do the parasocial relationship thing, where she did I saw one video. She was actually interviewing Dave, I think. And she's like, "Hey guys, I was just sitting in the car thinking about you." To the audience, who the fuck are you thinking about? Just thinking about you.
Wow.
It's like, oh, also, I don't want to give away all my material for my video, but there's a thing now. I'll show you quickly. This will be a Cringe-Fluencers exclusive. Hold on.
Everybody, just what's that sound? The clapping sound.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. Oh my God, look how many likes you have.
I know, I posted my Heidi video on here that it came out. Okay, her and like every other fake self-help person. Oh God, I forgot that I accidentally removed the screen from this background. Okay, whatever, just ignore it. So, okay, she posts these like viral videos that has nothing to do with her channel or her message or her. And she just like posts the source as like a little thing and posts these like viral videos to bring engagement to her page. And like all of these self-help people are doing this now. So for example,
my God, this is a desperate like strategy.
Okay. Yeah. They're all doing it. Trent Shelton's doing it. The Ed Millett guy's doing it. Like she puts her freaking logo on the top, and this is a video of a sea turtle and this guy's video. What does this have to do? And then it says, "This is incredible," and then puts the source. What is this? It's nothing to do with anything.
This is a desperate attempt at getting new followers.
I
Like, what
know.
the fuck?
But yeah, they're all.
This is hilarious. I never realized this.
Someone's selling them some.
Kayla, I think we lost your microphone, unless I just don't hear you. Can you guys hear Kayla, or
No.
is it just me?
No, it was me. Wait.
Oh,
Let's see.
okay.
My mic was on this last leg.
That was it. That was the last leg.
That was the last leg. Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Hi? Hello?
Yes.
Back? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's like, thanks for sharing this moment, and tags the person. Like, so many. Like, this has nothing to do with Trent Shelton. Drop a heart if this made you smile.
If these weren't already like, if these weren't already viral, I could see that, you know, you could get some engagement from someone like Mel Robbins or Trent, whatever, sharing it. But if they're already viral, then what?
It's just like fuck Jerry. Like all the fuck Jerry got famous for taking other people's viral content and putting it on their Instagram page. And they didn't pay any of the original creators. It's like, is that okay? I don't know. I'm torn. I'm like, well, what's the harm? But also, yeah, it is kind of fucked up. Like, why do you get to make the money and I don't? And they're all just trying to
They
like
make money from this? Is like Instagram?
Well, they sell an ad. Like they're like, I have 2 million followers who are interested in my message, and meanwhile they followed because they have all these random videos that brought them there. It's weird, but I've seen it on all of them. Like
I
all
did not
of them,
realize this is happening.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on Rachel's or Heidi's or Dave's, but the other people, the Jay Shetty, same thing. He's got it too. All the other ones that are in the same group are doing it. I don't know.
Mel posted about her ADHD diagnosis the other day, which I also went through, so it's near and dear to me, but then told her followers to tag their friends. She's roping in the ADHD community. Oh my god. Just like, is nothing sacred to these people? Like,
No.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, well, you know what? Let her shoot herself in the foot, because we're here for it, and we're gonna expose the fuck out of them.
I know she had a picture where she had her Adderall in her hand. She was like, I'm getting Adderall. But guess who diagnosed her with ADD, or at least diagnosed her also? Guess who did it? The brain scan guy.
Is this like
Amen.
Joe Dispenza?
Sort of. It's like him. He does the brain scan. Dr. Amen. Mel's gotten her head scanned by him. Logan Paul got his head scanned by him. Rachel got her head scanned by him.
I don't know where I've been. I do not know this guy.
Maybe he blocked me. Oh my god. No way.
No.
I did say that I was working on a video about him. I feel like he blocked me. Oh shit.
You can do this thing where you put it in your Twitter bio, blocked by.
Yeah. I'm blocked by Dave.
Do you want me?
And
do you want me to look him up?
yeah, it's Dr.
What's his name?
Dr. Daniel Amen. A-M-E-N, like amen.
Daniela Mendes?
Nope. Oops. Tom Bilyeu. That's another guy. Oh, Tom Bilyeu does it too. The viral video rap.
Oh, really? Ugh. Dr. Daniel?
Oops.
One second.
Oh, wait. I found it. I got it. He didn't block me. Damn.
I can't find him on Instagram. This is weird.
I got it now. Hold on. Here's his YouTube, and then here's his thing.
Doc Amen. Let me just try to find him.
And see, he's talking about ADD, ADHD stuff too.
Okay, yeah.
But basically, his whole thing is he scans your brain and tells you you have ADD or whatever.
Hey, I also my friend a friend in Scotland I have is doing a PhD to become a neuroscientist, and she asked me to come for an experiment.
Brain surgery?
And so I no, no, she's a neuroscientist, not a surgeon. But
Okay.
I did. I had to do some tests, and I don't remember. There was something. I think she did. She put. I think she put like a thing on my head. I can't remember actually. Was that something I just saw on hers, or did that happen? Because I was there for a brief amount of time. I did the test, but it was very intense. Um, and then I don't remember if she did put that thing on me or not. But anyways, technically I could also say I've had my brain scanned
Nice. What
by
did it look like?
and she's an actual like neuroscientist, you know.
Well, he's
She's a
got
neuroscience
credentials.
researcher at the very least right now.
He's a psychiatrist, but he's not a neurologist, and he pretends, it seems like, to be a neurologist. And he's like, oh, I'm a psychiatrist that treats neurological issues, but he doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack with him.
Yeah. Oh God. There's more and more of these like popping up. Like I thought I kind of had an understanding of who's on the scene, and now I'm like, oh shit. This is just like the tip of the iceberg.
I'm working on a bingo card for self-help scammers or self-help influencers to tell when they are one or not. And getting your brain scanned by this guy is like one of the bingo markers because they all apparently
But what
have done
does
it.
that show? Like you just get a brain like that's it. You just get a picture of your brain. What like it's not gonna go into intense like research to find what's he gonna do with the scan?
Sell you his supplements. The answer to all the problems
great.
is his supplements. If you didn't know that part yet, yeah. Yeah.
I just don't understand what he because like in order for someone to actually do these studies are extremely complex because you could it's not easy to tell where the response would be coming from. So they would have to eliminate a lot of things and just kind of like in order to be able to draw any sort of conclusion or even just like speculate or like the brain scan in itself is useless. Like you need like I don't know.
No, I agree. That's the whole thing. It's like it's just. I mean, maybe there's like you said, the God, I was gonna say Prozac. The what's the thing where it's not? It's a sugar pill.
Placebo.
Placebo effect, where it's like, well, you think you're getting a scan that does something, so then you believe that the medication works better for you. I could argue that, but he's saying like, oh, I can see based on this scan that looks like it's from 1950s that you could be a narcissist. Like, come on, like that's not real.
That's not going to show in the brain scan.
Yeah.
That's not how narcissism is.
Yeah, and then
is found.
And then
because the brain is completely fine for the narcissist. He doesn't have a brain problem.
Like, oh, I can tell you had an injury and now you're a narcissist. He's like, okay, whatever. But yeah.
Wow.
Like, so for example, okay, vitamin
This
D3.
is exactly like Joe Dispenza's website, except Joe Dispenza is like 10 times more expensive than this.
Really? Yeah.
Or maybe not 10 times, maybe like 3 times, but like still more expensive.
I felt like some of the stuff was like not reasonably priced. You can get that for like $5 at CVS.
Oh yeah.
But
absolutely.
He's got one that's called like memory powder. It's like $100 or something insane. Powder. Memory. And he wants everyone to play ping pong. 114 for memory powder.
Oh yeah, no, that's more like Joe Dispenza's prices, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a 30-day supply or something.
And you guys, like, I've tried to do, like, I've done some research because I have an inkling that vitamins are just, in general, useless.
Yeah, they are, totally. Supplements.
Well, it's, like, inconclusive. But, like, they don't know if they help.
And there's no regulation here, at least. In the United States.
Yeah, I've not done research on that so I'm not sure what that is like, but I'm assuming the regulation is not very strong here either. So, but I've tried to find out like if it actually does anything, like in terms of, and I've looked up on so many like articles and stuff, and like there's always like, yes, but also we don't know if it's coming from this, or like it it's just they never know.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they're so like popular and why everyone is buying them. Like at least with like,
Good
I
marketing.
don't know, like protein powder or something, people
Yeah.
are like, yeah, it does something. So at least you believe the people. But like in this case, not even people are saying they're doing anything, and people are still buying vitamins.
Well, can't hurt, I guess.
Well, it could potentially hurt.
True.
Who knows what they've put into that, especially if it's made by Joe Dispenza or like this guy.
Here's Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah,
supplement
he
store.
also, I know he also does this.
Power
Yeah,
pack.
it's
Boost.
it's apparently it must be really cheap to
Yeah,
make.
I think so. Even Alex Jones has supplements.
They must
now.
be really cheap to make.
Yeah. And just to comment on this comment from Janie or Jane, yes, it's the guy that treated. Okay, is that the guy who treated that dude David Dobrik almost killed? Yes, Jeffrey something. That's the guy, the same guy.
Yeah,
Good times.
this is gonna be interesting. You guys should subscribe and follow along because we're gonna talk
Yes.
about all these cameras in the future.
Yes. Someday. And the video about the doctor's coming soon, but I gotta like make sure I don't say anything stupid. So
Yeah,
I gotta
just
button it up
do
first.
disclaimers and always allege.
Yes.
You know.
I'm no expert.
Exactly.
I am a lone
Okay.
creator. All right, everybody. Well, thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you. And it's 1 a.m. here, so I should
Oof.
probably call it.
Yeah, nighttime. We were on for a long time, 3 hours. Just hit 3 hours. Wow.
Oh
Congrats,
my god.
everybody.
Remember when we said, oh, we're gonna be so like under an
know.
hour, and
I know.
yeah, we were so like, we don't like
Liars.
those long ones. Just-
One day we'll find a flow where it's like very like,
Congruent? Were you gonna say
don't know.
congruent?
don't
Dave
know.
Hollis has gotten into your head.
He has. I know. He really has. I've changed.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna actually. We should make an actual conference eventually and call it Congruent Women.
Yeah. The con
The con woman, the con lady.
con people. I like it. Only for con artists to learn the craft of conning other people.
Yeah, we can call it Con Men.
Yeah, I like it.
Con
Let's
Men
do it.
Incorporated.
Con Inc. Con Air.
We can invite Dave to speak at Con Men.
He'll show up. Like, we'll get you in front of.
Maybe that will be our chance to interview him.
Yeah.
Finally.
We should do that. We should try to like get them to come on the show. Reach out to their
Oh my
people.
god. Let's just grow our channel and then like they will all want to come for the
Yeah.
engagement because it's gonna be viral.
I love it. Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna have to go. So thank you everyone for sticking with us
Yes, thank you.
tonight.